Oh my gosh. All right, cool. All right, here we are. All right. Oh, you know what? Dang, that's loud. Oops. Okay, good. All right. Welcome to WyzGyz Entertainment. This is your host, Wyman. We are joined by a very special guest, John the Coach Malin. How are you, John?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Fantastic. Thank you.
Oh, I'm hearing an echo.
Oh, I'm hearing an echo.
Oh, it's probably because I had the volume turned so high. It sounded like you were kind of coming in faint, so I raised my speaker volume. How's this? Test, test, test. Testing 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, all I hear is
all I hear is me coming back.
Oops, I keep jacking up the volume. Wrong direction. Boomer. All right, test, test, test. This any better?
I can still hear me.
Does it still sound like an echo to you? Let's see, I don't have volume on my YouTube window, so it's not that. All right, how about now? Are you getting any echo now?
Well, I don't hear it from you.
Well, I don't hear it from you.
I hear it from me.
I hear it from me.
Still? What the heck?
Yeah.
What? I'm not sure what's going on because I don't have my volume jacked up anymore. Test, test, test. What could be causing that? I haven't changed any of my setup. Are you only hearing your own voice echoing back at you?
Yes.
Or
Yes.
strange. Let me try refreshing my browser just in case it happens to be on my end.
Hi.
All right, how about now? Any better?
Don't know until I speak.
All
right.
It's still
No,
echoing.
it's still echoing.
It's still doing it? No. With the bippity boppity boo. Welcome, Johnny Rando. Happy Friday. Is it too much echo to deal with? Do you have any suggestions on how to get rid of the echo that you're hearing?
You're coming in. What kind of setup you have? But yeah, I can't. I keep talking and bits.
Oh man, this blows. I've got a Mac Pro Tower. I've got an Apple EyeSight, so it's got a camera and a mic combined. And
I have 2 mics on. Oh, it sounds like it might be gone.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3.
How you guys heard everything in chat? Yeah, the echo's gone. You did whatever you did it.
All right, cool. People, ahoy, Coach Malin. People Circus is a shared screen audio, I think.
Well, whatever it is, it's fixed. Don't mess with anything else.
Gone now. Yeah, I guess people heard it too. I guess I was totally oblivious. Good golly. Oh, wow. All right. So welcome, John. How's it going? Let's see. That's it. No more echo. All right. Cool. Sweet. All right. So maybe it did require me to refresh the browser. I probably had it sitting in StreamYards for too long or something, and it caused some audio anomaly. Anywho, no more EHO. Spelling correction. So before we get into your book, if you don't mind, I just want to ask you some general questions, if that's all right with you.
Sure.
Actually, would you mind sharing for those who don't know or who watch this on replay who may not know how you got into the comics industry? Or
well, I got into Image Comics main publisher in about 2002 by answering a ad for an internship. And I flew out to California. I got the internship, and I was working in the comic book industry. Beyond that, with the publishing side, I had my first published work in Digital Webbing Presents. It was a 5-pager that we had to pay for our own pages to be printed. And later on, I got work with Rob Liefeld doing a book called Nitrogen, and that was my first full comic book work and paid.
Wow. So it all started with that call for interns, or way back when.
So first I did my Digital Webbing Presents #1 was the first thing that happened. That was me getting published, then getting an internship. Yeah, and while I was out there in California, I met Rob, and yeah, that ended up being a work out there.
Was it? Did it feel like a huge move? Do you remember it being really kind of stressful or full of anxiety making such a move going to California?
Yeah, I upended my entire course of my life right there. I was still I was relatively young, but married, and to do this internship, it was a 3-month unpaid internship. So basically, through my wife working and my family helping to support me get out there, I mean that took care of that kind of 3-month struggle. But even still, I didn't know that I was going to get the job, and just whatever. It's a big chance. But when I answered the ad and they found out I lived in Michigan, they actually kind of shot me down. They're like, "Oh no, don't bother. We're looking for someone local." And I said, "Well, don't count me out. I'll be there." And I hopped on a flight. So, it might have been because they knew that I hopped on a flight that they were even a little bit more willing to let me come in and do the work. But I was supposed to be there. I think 1, maybe 2 days a week. I was there every day. I had to make sure I was useful to them. I had to be sure that at the end of 3 months, because it was an unpaid internship. So at the end of 3 months, I had to be sure that I was getting paid, that I was going to get hired, have a job, and be able to get my wife out there. And it worked out. But yeah, it was all a risk. I mean, it seems like a lot of things in my life have been like big, risky kind of things, but they ended up kind of working out. I don't know. I guess a little bit of having some drive maybe helps with that.
Oh, very much so. As Johnny puts it, fortune favors the bold.
Yeah. Yeah, and I was lucky. I just happened to be on their website. They used to have and they may probably still have a message board out there. But yeah, it was a little banner ad that popped up. Anyone could have replied to it.
Right. People says Malin went by boat, rode back and forth every day.
No. I went by bus. So the town that because I didn't know anything. So when it was like the what is it, the well, I flew out there and it was like the Guns N' Roses "Welcome to the Jungle" video. He got a little straw hanging out of his mouth. Like I was like, where the hell do I go? Like, what am I doing out here? And it was funny too, because like it was like nighttime when I got out there from the airport, and I was like,
Uh-huh.
it was a really short flight. It was 4 hours, whatever, and catch a little nap, and boom, you're there. And I was
That's
like,
not.
I was like, man, this is just like the Matrix. I feel like someone's pulling a joke on me. Like this is California. So my mom knew someone. My mom worked in a factory job out here in Michigan, and she had a communication with one of their, I don't know, associates, I guess, with another kind of sister factory or something like that in California. So
Oh,
she had communication with a guy out there who's actually very close, and he's like, hey, let me know when your son arrives. I'll pick him up and get him around the place and whatnot. And he's like, I know a couple people that are looking for a roommate, and like, okay, cool. So he did pick me up and took me out to, I don't know if I stayed in a hotel the first night or if I went right to this roommate situation. But I did end up getting into this house, and with several other people, and it was kind of a packed situation. But I had my own little small room. So, it worked out. But yeah, I mean, I ended up getting a rental vehicle, and the first place I went was Santa Monica Boulevard because of the song, that Sheryl Crow song. Like, I'll go out to
yeah.
Santa Monica Boulevard. Let's check it out. So I went out there. I was like, okay. Then I went back. So, but yeah, I was out in Brea, Fullerton area. I didn't know, but Dan Frago, at least from my conversations with him, was actually, in pretty close proximity to me.
Oh my
Rob
God.
Liefeld lived in the next town over, Fullerton, and he eventually moved out into Yorba Linda. But yeah, I was
Oh,
actually pretty close to all these guys, and I didn't know how close I was. So when Rob moved to Yorba Linda, I actually helped him move from his house out there. So
oh my
again,
gosh.
it's accessibility. I was one town away, and in California, Orange County at least, these cities, they're all packed right next to each other. You don't know that you've left Brea and entered Fullerton or Orange or any of these other cities unless you see a sign that says you're now in Fullerton.
Right.
So welcome to Anaheim. So
Yeah.
but
Man, that must have been crazy.
yeah, it was pretty, that was interesting time. And the wife got out there, and and then she went back to work, and I think she started at Home Depot. I don't think she transferred. I think she started at Home Depot. And but I mean, California's expensive as fuck, and anyone that tells you that like the pay scales, they're full of shit. Full of
Yeah.
shit. Yeah. There's no pay scaling up there to make it easier for you to live out there. I mean, every home out there is $1 million piece of shit. And I mean, everyone's living, 8 people to a house. But if you're a loner and you're by yourself and you don't have to worry about a wife, whatever, you can actually upend your life pretty easily and move out to California any day, in any given day of the week. They have a magazine, I think it's called the Penny Saver. You grab one
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
these things that has rooms for rent all over the place, like rooms in homes. That's what
Yeah.
people are renting out left and right, because no one can afford to live there unless they're like grandfathered in.
Yeah. It's insane.
Mhm.
Yeah. I'm a native Californian. I'm not there anymore. I'm in Ohio, but I was in Northern California, San Francisco Bay Area.
Mhm.
But I did have family in San Fernando Valley. So yeah, I hear you.
But yeah, so I rode the bus every day. That's how I got to the city of Orange for my internship. Because I hopped on a bus, met all what are a bunch of characters, oddballs, stuff like that. Just like school, man. I kept to myself. Just like stay away. But it was like Groundhog Day too, because I'm from Michigan, so I like the weather changing, and the weather was always pretty consistent out there. It was really boring. I really don't see the appeal, of every day kind of looking the same. And winter changes a bit, but not dramatically much. And it gets what are like 70s and stuff like that. I mean, it's nice. If it was affordable, I could see an appeal in staying there. But that's why I think like Mike Miller is a moron for staying out there and trying to raise a family in Sandy fucking Ego.
Man.
It's like, dude,
Yeah.
just move outside of that fucking city. Go out to Riverside. Go somewhere where it's fucking cheap. Not Riverside for him, but Riverside for my area.
Right.
Yeah, it's just outrageous. So get the fuck out of there. Move out here. Move out to the Midwest, man. And get yourself basically, the equivalent of a fucking palace for the same amount of money you'd be paying out there for a shack.
It was pretty crazy. When my parents purchased a home in '84, it was like about 125,000. And lately, when you look at the property values in the neighborhood, you're looking at 500,000-600,000. It's crazy.
Yeah,
it's crazy. People says, Coach, you've thrown out some gems of ideas for comic stories on your stream. Hooker Wars is still something I love to do.
Hooker Wars. I don't even remember it.
Any chance of some more gold off the top of your head?
Yeah, see, that's a problem with I have the worst memory of all time. So I can throw some gems out, I'm sure, but I'll forget about them. So,
but he's got a point about California. Kumquats are free, right?
Yeah, you can steal them. Yeah, if you want to steal kumquats, you can get those for free, like Mike Miller was doing.
So did you? If I remember, you did. All around the same time, you and I think EVS and Cecil were all talking about getting kumquats when that whole ComicsGate happened.
Yeah, we bought them online and made some lady a good amount of money because I think other people went in there and bought them too. That's how economies are supposed to work. So
yeah, I was one of them.
Yeah, I bought like a box of them. I don't know if it's a pound or 2 pounds of kumquats, but they were pretty good. I ate them with the skin on.
Yeah, and that's how I read you were supposed to eat them.
Yeah.
I
think Dan Frega suggests taking the skin off, but I thought they're nice little bite-sized. More you eat them with the skin on, you get a little like a bitterness, and then it's basically like essentially an orange on the inside. So you get a little bitterness and you get that little kind of sweet tart on the inside. So
right, and didn't at the same time you had some issues because out of the blue you discovered that your mailboxes had moved because there was some construction going on.
Oh yeah. So I thought my kumquats were lost. Like I never got them. Turned out they relocated. Well, they tore down my mailbox, but I was expecting them to just set it at my door. So my mailbox to this day is still laying in my front yard while they continue to work on my road. But they set up temporary mailboxes on a side street, but they never told us. So my wife found out about it when she went to the post office and went there and found the kumquats were sitting there. They probably were there. I don't remember. I want to say a week, but it's probably closer to like 3 or 4 days. But I mean, that's like 3 or 4 days in the sun, Yeah. But she brought them in. And I was like, but they're in perfect condition. Perfect condition. I don't know what the hell they're growing or how these things are doing, but yeah, I kept them for a while even after that because I couldn't eat them all in a day or even a week. So I think I got about 2/3 of the way through before I threw away whatever was left, and that was probably like only like 10 or 15 of them.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was hoping everyone who bought the kumquats could get together in a giant stream and eat them all together, but it seemed like timing was off for everyone. Yeah. And I guess EVS ate his early on as soon as he got them. I don't even know if he streamed with them. And then you got yours delayed because of the mishap with the mailbox, and then I got mine, and then I don't know if you remember Frago, not Joe Frago. He ordered kumquats too, but they sent him the wrong thing. He got some other fruit entirely. I think he got mangoes or something. So that didn't work out. So I ended up doing a stream by myself, and I think I invited a few guests, and I ate but all 2 pounds of it in I think 2 hours. I just downed them.
Did you have any stomach issues after that, or what?
Actually, surprisingly, no.
Did your poo smell have a kumquatty odor to it?
No, not that I could tell. Unless it knocked out my sense of smell for a while.
Hmm.
But I had
'Cause I
more.
swear mine did. But
Oh wow!
it could have been in my head.
I had more stomach issues when I did a pickle eating challenge with Shay, the Red Valkyrie, and yeah, and I ate 4.5 jars, 4.5 16-ounce jars of sweet gherkin whole pickles, and it was like a cramping feeling that came and went.
Yeah. You should
Uh,
probably eat in smaller portions. Are you doing these? Are you doing these outrageous sit downs for like an eating competition or?
yeah, that one was for an eating competition.
Okay.
The one where I ate all kinds of hard-boiled eggs was simply because I was celebrating hitting 100 subs on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
And the kumquat one was just an excuse to have some guests join me and keep me company
Mm-hmm.
while I ate them. And I was just curious as to how many I could eat before passing out. Let's see here. Johnny asks, what are your plans for the 100 copies of Jawbreaker's Lost Souls from Mr. Meyer?
I don't have any plans for them right now. I'm sure at some point I'll open them up. I believe they're all signed by Richard on the inside. I'll probably add a signature on there and then sell them at some point, but it's not in the immediate plans. I'm trying to get through this next couple of years, really. Getting Project Thundar out there, making sure Graveyard Shift is going strong, and those are kind of my priorities. Is like kind of building up this business as like a publisher and making as much content as I can. You never know how long these things will last, so you want to be sure you're getting product out there and doing what you can for people while it's good. Hopefully it lasts forever and everything keeps going and going and going.
For sure.
But prepare for the worst. Hope for the best. Prepare for the worst.
What are your thoughts on this? People would really like to see a newsprint version of Graveyard Shift.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see that happening?
Sure, why not? Down the road. I mean, all these books, from my point of view, are it's trying to get into the more and more affordable aspects of it as we go. Again, get as much content out there now while we can. But as we progress, just like in this campaign here, I have the collected edition. So, which volume 1 used to cost $25, volume 2 used to cost $25. Now I combine them into one book because I've already paid for the material to be made. And now I sell that one book of collected material for $25. So that's how people are now saving. People that are just catching on to Graveyard Shift are now able to catch on for volume 1, volume 2 for $25. Eventually it'll be volume 3, volume 4 for $25. So you'll be able to catch up. But the longer term goal as we keep going is eventually taking like the original releases. So we take the green cover, without a spine, we'd make it a floppy. It'd be a 50-page floppy. Paper thickness would be, we use right now is like 100 to 105 paper stock, which is pretty good and thick. We'd probably move it down to like an 80 or something like that. It's still good and thick. I think that's still better than what you get from Marvel and DC. But ultimately, that floppy edition would be worth, say, $10. And now we become comparable with Marvel rates, where they're doing $3.99, $4.99 for a book. Now we're for a 20-page book. Now we're giving Graveyard Shift would be a 50-page book that you buy for $10. So that becomes a lot better. A newsprint version of that same book could also be available at some point in time. I'd probably have to test it out and see how I feel, because we got a lot of gradient colors, and newsprint is it's it's respectable. It's just whatever. It's not something that I like the gloss paper for all the gradient colors and everything to be as poppy as possible. And you're gonna get a bit of almost a desaturation of what you can, that impact, that visual pop is going to disappear a little bit. And I don't know if it's going to be dramatically cheaper. Maybe it will be. But yeah, it's possible. It could happen. Something like that could happen. But eventually, we would have, where I'm looking at is those $10 books, where each volume of Graveyard Shift is now $10 separate, and this would be hopefully the one that we produce like in mass. So, if we do a campaign that has, hey, we want to put all these into these floppy editions, we're going to want to print 10, 20,000 of these a piece. And then we can maybe do something like, people have talked about like eBay stores and stuff like that. That would be where we could be dealing more with that, or even retailer bundles to where the retailers could buy them in much larger quantities, like say, 500 copies, 1,000 copies in one purchase, and get a discounted rate from that. So if anybody wants them in stores, I don't mind shipping them directly to a retailer if they want to buy them, just as I would any other customer. But that bulk amount is going to be what I would require for that. So, and then they can sell those in their stores for $10 a pop, and they're making, potentially $8 on each one.
Absolutely. And let's see here.
Minus shipping. So, like I'm saying, we're gonna have to figure all this shit out. So, but that's what we're doing. With the books that I'm publishing, is we're trying to get them down to where, as the years go by, we're gonna try to get them out quicker and quicker and cheaper, and hopefully volume keeps going up. So we're gonna have to get more and more backers, to make sure that we're not, putting ourselves in a spot financially. So, we want to stay strong. 2,000 is like bare minimum, I think, of what we really need in terms of backer counts, like period. Mm-hmm. So, we're almost there with this campaign, which is great. And, but even this campaign, so like Blood Bag, it's $75 tier. We had the same tier in the last campaign, except what it was a volume 1 reprint. Then you got the first print of volume 2, and then you got the first volume of the supplemental. Like, that was the original Blood Bag tier. It did really well. This one, if everyone can see it right there, you have the collected edition that's on the left, then you get the volume 3, and then you get the supplemental volume 2. So it's almost identical to the last Blood Bag. But the long-term goal of what I hope to do is, we, instead of having any reprinted material in that tier whatsoever, the next Blood Bag will be all brand new material. So you're going to get volume 4, you'll get volume 3 of the supplemental, and then you'll get a third book, which will also be Graveyard Shift related. Something different. But yeah, they'll all be in the 50-page range, 50, 60 pages a piece. And at that point, I think Graveyard Shift is running as a fully functional publishing campaign. So basically, you have, if 20 pages is a month, basically you have 6 months worth of material. You actually have more than that. But then I'm doing Project Thundar, which we're going to launch probably later this fall or early in the winter. And eventually I want to get Project Thundar up to the same level of functionality, where we'll have one tier, and that one tier will have 3 books, and those 3 books will all be in the same universe of Project Thundar. But now we got another 6 months of material. So we would have more than a year's worth of material being published through 2 campaigns a year. That's the ultimate goal. So, early on in ComicsGate, people wanted like publishing. They wanted to build publishers. And why aren't you guys joining together and being publishers? Well, this is kind of that. I mean, obviously, Ethan's not involved. And he's, this isn't his company, and but I am going out there and I'm trying to do what people are asking for. They want creators in here. They want more and more content. Well, I can provide that. I can provide that through Graveyard Shift and Project Thundar, and give people what a certain percentage of them wanted, which is as many books as they can get, as much bang for their buck as they can get.
Oh yeah, for sure. And to catch up on some of the chats here. Welcome, Justin McClure. Good to have you. Justin Dutton, ahoy, ahoy. Welcome. People Circus, order kumquats from the wrong site and you'll get seeds, if you know what I mean. Is that the seed controversy where seeds are mysteriously arriving from China and people are discouraging you from planting them?
Oh, no.
Let's see. Froggo funding. Hot. Froggo actually invited me to do a challenge when we get to it. Where are you familiar with the YouTube videos, Hot Ones? It's like an internet show where they eat these hot wings at varying, increasingly hotter hot sauce levels, and they do that at the same time they interview like a celebrity.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're gonna try and put one of those together. Let's see here. People Circus says Richard on the Inside should be the title for your boy's autobiography. Richard on the Inside. Oh. Let's start pushing through some of these awesome stretch goals. Back Graveyard Shift 3 today. Right on. Justin says, I have a small retail bundle of 6 books for $80 with returnability for Unstitched. Got to back Graveyard Shift next week. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, and Unstitched just got fully funded. Right on. Grats. Malin putting people... Do you know?
Yeah, well, business talk isn't very exciting for most people, but look, for people out there that are looking to do it, this is good information.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, all these nuggets of wisdom, every little bit helps. And I mean, I kind of find this stuff pretty fascinating. It's a lot to take in, and it can be overwhelming at times, but it's important stuff. Johnny says, I just backed Graveyard Shift 3 for the second time, the supplemental tier. Right on. Fantastic.
Yeah, I appreciate you, Johnny.
Let me double check here. All right. Yeah, I've backed it twice so far. Let me see. Absolutely. John, what's your routine to get psyched up to draw every day? What excites you to create art day in and day out?
Well, I don't draw every day, which is a bit shocking to everyone. Dan and I were talking about this. He'll draw like a whole day, and then he'll sit around. Then he'll want to sketch something. I don't do that. I did my fair amount of kind of draw. Yeah, I don't even know, even when I was a kid, if I could draw every day, man. What gets me excited to draw is, just the ideas and, what can be done in the art form, the challenge of all that stuff. Trying to take storytelling, maximizing, not to a new level, but maximizing that level that, other greats have already established. There's an art, Scott McCloud's Understanding Comics. He's a douchebag, but that's a great book in terms of, kind of the finer insights of comic books and time, space, leading the eye from one panel to the next. That's the challenge, is to I'm getting an echo again.
Oh crap. Hey, who out there is hearing an echo from John? Or for that matter, is anyone hearing an echo from me as well? Bueller. Let's see. Justin loves the business talk. Let's see. If you haven't yet, go check out Unstitched after you back Graveyard Shift 3. Oh, shit.
It's not me, guys.
There's
Sorry.
Sorry.
echo from Malin. No, you just John. What the heck? All right, I'll be right back. I'm gonna refresh the StreamYard screen again.
Hi. No echo. Amazing. Almost like it's not on my end. Yeah. So yeah, I like the challenge of drawing is what it is primarily. And I didn't hear any echo when you pop back in. So unless you're muted, you're good.
Test. Test. I don't hear the Malin anymore. What? Oh, the echo. All right. Stop sharing screen, maybe. Well, I'm not sharing right now. Maybe that would be a crazy glitch. How else am I going to share it? Oh, well, I guess you could share from your end. Ahoy, ahoy. Indina's can be right back. It's fine now. Man, I don't generally have this issue with sharing. Okay. So you were saying that you're not the type who like draws like all day or in huge chunks of time.
Well, I'm definitely not going to draw like a full day and then go to my couch, and hang out and then start drawing again. Like that's not in my DNA.
Mm.
So, look, drawing is work. It's work I love to do, but I have to have separation. I have to sit down and enjoy a movie and just enjoy that, or conversations with the wife, whatever. I'm
For sure.
drawing. I just whatever. It's the last thing I want to do after I've been drawing.
Statistical Zero, welcome. Having some problems with the stream today? Hello, all. Yep. And echoing that comes and goes. So far it sounds like it may be related to when I share a screen, share a browser. Maybe I should share from within the same browser instead of from another browser.
But yeah, man, I love getting high though in drawing. Like that's a real motivator for me too. Because look, I can sit at my computer and I'll be like, oh, man, I got to get to this drawing. Because I know I got some work to do on my desk, But here I am, whatever, on Twitter or whatnot, and to where the point that the drawing is almost a drag. Like I'm just like dreading, like, But I'd smoke weed, and that corrects me real quick. Because what happens is all of a sudden I start feeling really guilty, and it forces me to get into the drawing. But when I'm in the drawing, I love every line I'm laying down, and I don't mean like they're perfect. I mean, I enjoy laying down those lines and being like, again, like the journey of it, like smoking weed, like really zeroes me in for that. It gets me in that kind of zone area that everyone's, always struggling to get to, like right away.
Wow, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, every time people talk about pot, everyone, touts how hungry it makes you. It gives you the munchies.
Yeah, I think Joe Rogan said this once, and it's a pretty good thing about weed. He's like, weed makes lazy people lazier, but it's those that use it as a tool. If you use it as a tool, like I don't go around and just get high. I don't, even when I smoke to work, it's like one little puff. But for me, because I don't have like a huge tolerance or anything like, I mean, I go weeks without smoking,
Mm-hmm.
But I don't have like this huge tolerance. So one little hit and I'm gone for like an hour, 2 hours. And, but it's always for work. I'm not like smoking and, sitting down and eating a bag of Doritos and, watching a movie.
Right.
I'm not saying that I don't end up in that state at some point, like I'm residually high, but my drawing is done. And now that I'm done drawing for the day, I'm sitting down, I'm still residually high. And now I can sit down and whatever's left of the buzz. But I don't like have a bowl sitting in my living room. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Statistical Zero saying, oh, wait, wrong one. People is saying, John, what about story writing and finding a writer to help shape your ideas?
Mm-hmm. Well, I enjoy writing. I've always written for myself though. Plot ideas, concept ideas. Things like when I worked at Marvel, I was shooting these guys out plots and concepts, left and right. No reception, no welcoming, no nothing, no encouragement. And but I'm like, I have a drive to make these things happen, especially getting into, at that time Marvel later in my life. I'm like, I don't have 20 years to be the nice guy sitting in the corner,
Mm-hmm.
the nice quiet person sitting in the corner. So here I am working for Marvel doing Thunderbolts, and I'm sending out pitches for everything. Like, hey, what do you guys think about this? What do you think about that? Blah, 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 blah. No response. Completely unwelcome.
Whoa.
Yeah. The only thing I think I did get a response on was when I pitched Trump Captain America team up book. That was shot down pretty. That actually got a response out of John Brevoort. Yeah. It was a no. Spoiler. But the idea, it wasn't like Trump was going to be fighting alongside of Captain America. It was at the time at Marvel, there were definitely political leanings going one way. So my pitch was, let's do a Captain America book where obviously Trump is the president, and how does Captain America deal with this kind of whirlwind of a president that we were all experiencing when he stepped in, someone that gets you off your game. It's not like you could have put Trump into like kind of this archetype. Like he's not repeatable. Whatever he's doing, you think he's going one way or he's going another way. So the writing challenge would have been to not make Trump look like this big buffoon of a guy or anything like that, or even to elevate him to like a god status. It was, to try to write a Trump character that is, very much human, maybe flawed in certain areas. And how does Captain America deal with that? Mm-hmm. And trying to give a, obviously the core of it would have been, some inspirational story, about, duty and,
mm-hmm.
Human nature, human flaws. And it could have been a really great in-depth story, but instead, they just want to turn Captain America into a fucking Nazi.
That was crazy. Totally crazy.
But anyways, yeah, I do write. And, same thing, a little bit of weed as a tool, man. It doesn't all come out as pretty. Like, look, I mean, you can write dog eats cat, when you're high and you're like, oh my God, dude, that's the coolest fucking idea in the world. And then you sober up and you're like, what the fuck was I thinking? Dog eats cat. But writing is kind of like this thing that Dan and I were having a conversation on a few days ago. It applies to writing as well. You can, drawing wise, you can draw the guy standing on top of the mountain, like that's the page description. And that's good and that's fair and that's fine. That's showing what needs to be shown. But you can make that better. And even in the writing, you can describe this better. The wind is blowing, the clouds are forming. Frost is, if it's Captain America, Frost is building on his shield, or icicles are hanging from it. It's all that additional flavor that you put onto that simple description. Some people will just write man stands on top of mountain.
Right.
Some people will just draw man stands on top of mountain. Some people will just color man stands on top of mountain. And it's true in coloring as well. Avoid coloring by number. Don't do paint by number where Captain America is blue and his shield has the red and the white. What's going on in the environment? Where's the sun coming from? How does that reflect onto the snow caps? And what time of day is it? Is it just a blue sky day, or is it like the golden hour? That when the sun is setting and you're getting or rising, and you're getting these nice, bright, beautiful golds all over the place? Or is it red? You know, is it red sky at night? You know, and the sun is just casting everything in red. But that red and that gold and whatever other colors are in that environment have to reflect on the colors of that costume. If all you're doing is paint by numbers, you're just doing man stands on top of mountain, and that's fine. You're doing the job at like the bare minimum.
Right. Before you started working for the actual comic book companies, did you actually take a lot of classes in figure drawing?
No.
Or are you like self-taught?
Yeah, self-taught. I mean, you know, I went to, you know, regular public school, and I went to, you know, their art classes, and I don't know if I was exceptional. I know when I was in like elementary or middle school, I did like a drawing of Thumper, and I think it was like, I think that it was like you have a picture of Thumper, he's drawn in squares, and then, you know, their squares are overlaid, and then you redraw him. I think that might have been what it was. But anyways, I did that, and I got an A++++. And I was like, whoa. That was kind of like my early, like, maybe I can do something here. Oh, and they hung it out in like the hallway. You know? So I was like, yeah, that's my drawing.
It all started with...
No, you know, look, I mean, my art education, and I never did life drawing. I went to one life drawing course only because Ryan Stegman lived the next town over from me, and I guess he went to MSU, and so he drugged me out to this life drawing course over there. Him and his wife, and you know, I was kind of excited. I'm like, hey, you know, I'm life drawing. You know, what's the worst going to happen? Hey, I have to look at a naked chick.
Yeah.
No, I had to look at a naked dude. And where I was sitting, I was like lined up on his crotch, and I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Yeah.
So I've never done life drawing again. Disgusting, bunch of hippies, and a lot of those people suck, man. Like, you know, I don't know what the fuck. You know, it's like, I don't know why some of these people draw. Like, it's like I saw this old hippie dude in there with like charcoal, and he's like, you know, trying to get the gesture or whatever down with the charcoal and shit. And it just looked like fucking crap. I'm just like, what is wrong with these people? Look, you don't have to go to life drawing courses. I'm sorry, guys. Look, you know, oh, where else are you going to study people in motion? Film. That's what they didn't have 100 years ago, was film, guys.
Right.
So you can see bodies turning all day long. I can look at anyone's head in a movie, and I can study it as I'm watching this stuff. It's not creepy because the other person isn't looking back at me. And, you know, if I want to learn, you know, how muscles move, you got all the film in the world. You don't have to go sit down with a dirty, stinking, nasty hippie.
Yeah.
It's just fucking, you know, it's a bunch of wine drinkers, you know, smelling their own buttholes is what it is. So that's life drawing. Literally smelling other people's buttholes. It's cool.
Oh man. Yeah. You go in thinking you're gonna see all these attractive women to draw, and you get everything but, well, once in a while you get real lucky. Depends on if they could score that particular model that day. Justin actually has a bowl in the living room.
Yeah.
People Circus says you should have pitched them Hooker Wars. Pure gold. They missed out. John is a closet genius. He is the ideas.
I wouldn't go that far, but I do try to put in an effort.
Add some broken color, some mood lighting, and evoke emotion through color. All I know is you can't burn all the graveyard shift stuff, John. I need it. Too many things went wrong to back it just yet.
Yeah. Get in there, guys, because I only do these campaigns over the course of the campaign. Right. So we're going to finish this first 30 days, then we're going to extend it for the second 30 days, and that's it. But yeah, all my leftover copies are getting burned in a big bonfire, probably within the month. I'm going to throw gasoline on it and let it rip.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, so I'll be videotaping it so people can see it, and but I just, I want people to know that I'm not like just hoarding up books to keep reselling. And look, that's fine. Other people can do whatever they want, but for me, it's about scarcity. So I want to be sure people get, especially these first prints is just like that. That's what's really kind of sacred. Like we just sold on the campaign, I think in day one, we sold like the last remaining books that we are putting out of volume 1. It was like 50 copies, and that was leftover from the previous campaign, which was like 100. It sold 51, I think. So now we put out the last of them. So everyone had their last chance, other than the handful that Mark and myself are going to hold on to, or any of our guys got his comps, whatever. That's it. So when people want to complete their collection, get back to those first prints, now they have to start going to the original buyers. And, a lot of the original buyers bought doubles, I'm sure. So maybe people will be able to get them cheap, but that's up to those guys. And now they can actually, the original backers, they're going to be able to probably at least make their money back at some point and hopefully make a good profit. And then it'll go to volume 2. Will become the next rarity. So, and then volume 3 and volume 4. I mean, we're going to keep these things going for as long as we can. But eventually the collector mentality will kick in and people will say, I got the blue, I got the red, I got the orange, the yellow, but I didn't get the green, or I didn't get the purple, so they're going to want to go back and try to track these down. They're going to have to hit up these early collectors, early backers. So, but look, you could do a print run of 10,000 and technically that's still rare. Most ComicsGate campaigns are still, not breaking like 10,000 backers. And even if they did, let's say you got out to 12,000 copies, that's still rare. But I'm trying to make mine as rare as possible. So, when they won't get as rare as they become getting collected or becoming the $10, the eventual $10 floppy that I want to get to, but that's still a few years away.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, scarcity increases value. Mm-hmm. So there's something to be said about that. So that's a very good point. On all your campaigns, you never go in demand. You cut it off after the second 30 days of funding.
Yeah. So everything I make is in that 60 days, and that's it. And then we wait another year before another Graveyard Shift campaign comes out.
Yeah. So if you can, save up your money in the expectation that, John's going to release another book, and get ready to get all your copies so you catch up from the copies you missed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the ultimate goal, backer-wise, is like 3,000. I feel like if we can get 3,000 people as like regular backers, then the sky becomes the limit. So right now we're at, I don't remember what it was on there, like 1,300, 1,400.
1,439.
Yeah, and then the first campaign I think did maybe 2,100. The second campaign maybe around 2,400. So we're still not to 3,000 yet, but once that happens, I feel like that's enough money comfortably to where I'm making money and all the artists involved are making good money, and we're just maximizing. Yeah, so I've heard that before. Throw diesel, Malin. No gasoline.
Let's see. Okay, Chuck Adams, welcome. So let me ask this: will there be other Graveyard Shift stuff in the future, or is this the only stuff you're doing with it?
What do you mean?
I'm wondering if it's related to merch.
Graveyard Shift is continuing, well down the road. The team will change. We have when we get to volume 6, we're planning to have that be our big climax, and we're gonna kill off a lot of people, and the actual team itself will not be the same. So we may have 1 or 2 people still there, like a couple of familiar faces, but it's going to transform, and that's the way it'll be. It'll just keep continuing on down the line, and we'll see how it goes.
Right on. Uh,
And if it was regarding merch, yeah, that's fine. But I feel like I'm a comic book guy, and I want to make comic books. Like that's really where my focus is at. I even like stretch goals. I'd love it if we could get rid of the stretch goals where it's a sticker or even just a simple trading card, whatever, and be more content in the books. So, again, I'm trying to get as much value out of here for people's money that they spend, and pack that right in and put more artists to work. And that's important too. So when I have 2 campaigns going a year, one for Graveyard Shift, one for Project Thundar, and if those are fully packed with talent, we're talking about putting, 6, 7 writers and artists to work. Not to mention bringing in probably an additional colorist or 2. So, these are real jobs, and these guys in the independent market, independent comics don't pay. ComicsGate comics do pay though. And that's because of everybody out there that supports these projects. So, I want to do my best to make sure that, myself is taken care of, but also as many people, talented people out there in ComicsGate are making good money and leaving a door open for new talent. And we try to bring in new talent on each one as well. So Joe Ball is newer talent. Rob Willis is newer talent. I actually think if we get Graveyard Shift out before Shinobi Sasquatch, I'm not sure, but that might be his first printed work. So,
whoa.
Yeah. Well, interior, not like pin up cover stuff like that.
Gotcha. Johnny asks, any chance of a Rob Willis variant on this campaign? Would be a great boost.
Probably not. I think we've laid out pretty much everything we're going to lay out with this stuff. And, if I do a variant, it'll be in like a variant campaign. It'll be its own thing, kind of like we did with the Andrew Huerta cover. So, it's possible, but right now I just want to get my interiors done. Once we get the interiors all taken care of from our guys, then we'll consider, hey, do you guys have time to do an additional cover? If not, then who knows? Maybe I'll hit up Andrew Huerta again. I don't know.
Yeah.
Did very well on this last cover.
That was epic. I love that.
$74,000 raised on it. But yeah, no, but look, more importantly, I'd rather have Rob Willis drawing 50 pages of, Graveyard Shift or something else related material a year than I would just one singular cover. I mean, the guy's a real talent. But, covers are fine, but interiors are where it's at. You got to have strong interior artists. We don't want to just turn all these really good guys into cover artists because they'll never draw interiors again. So,
that's a good point. I mean, there's nothing worse than having a stunningly beautiful cover only to open up the book and it's garbage.
But some guys don't have enough gas in the tank. Drawing interiors of a comic book, that's a marathon. A lot of them would just rather turn their brain off and do just pinup work. It's a lot easier and a lot less to think about. It's like action pose, standing pose, instead of that deeper art form of panel storytelling. So, who knows where Rob Willis goes in the end. But yeah, if he wanted to do 50 pages a year of anything, I'd say, yeah, sure, fine, let's do it.
So when you're talking about
right now, I'm going to see how he does on 20.
Good idea. So when you're referring to adding more content and value to the campaign, the book, you're talking about adding more pages to the books, and possibly if it suits the campaign, maybe even releasing another book or an ash can.
Yeah, we have an ash can in this for Little Graveyard Shift, and that was an upgrade. That was a stretch goal in there to upgrade that to a full-size floppy. Yeah.
Was that something that you reached out to Kyung about? It was an idea you had, or did he offer it as a suggestion?
No, I went to Kyung. I was like, yeah, I've seen Kyung draw plenty. I know he does his little chibi characters, and I needed to be able to get someone that could, get a fair amount of work done in a short amount of time. And
Yeah.
thankfully, I asked Kyung well in advance, though. I'm just like, hey, again, let's see how you do on 20 pages, and
Nice.
he did it effortlessly. So for Kyung to come in and do more work, I'd be happy to commission him for higher page mounts. And I even said, I'm like, hey, if you ever want to do something like with your more serious or American style,
Mm-hmm.
I'm all for it. So but I think he wants to do Battle Maiden Knuckle Bomb, but I think doing Little Graveyard Shift might be a little bit of a break, a little, because he doesn't have to work every little muscle in his brain to like make this happen.
Right.
So it's only meant for kids, like little kids. So
Right.
but yeah, I still need to have a talk to him about doing a campaign where we potentially do a campaign that is just Little Graveyard Shift, but maybe like 100-page book, and it would be aimed just for people with kids. So this would be like something that you would take to your kid and read them on like Halloween. It'd be like a ghost story, like a Scooby-Doo level thing, So
That would be sweet. That would be sweet. All of my kids, or stepkids rather, are grown, but it would be a trip. It would be a trip to support that campaign anyway.
Yeah, well, you can hand it off to your kids because they're going to have kids.
That's true too. That's true. Oh yeah. So people's totally on board with your idea of limiting copies and print runs.
Yeah.
Justin points out gasoline explodes, diesel will engulf, or no explosion.
Yeah. No, I want it to be like a really stupid hold my beer thing. So it goes up in my face. Look at this idiot. Yeah, don't worry, guys. I've lit my fair share of grills. I'll make this a simple process.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so there will be more stories. My carrier wants $600 to replace my phone, so I was worried that Graveyard Shift was ending after number 3.
No. We have it planned out all the way to volume 6 right now, and like I said, that'll be the big climax. But it's 100% planned to continue beyond that point. As long as people want it, it'll keep going.
Oh yeah.
We on our part, our responsibility is to make sure that we don't just keep treading water. Though we need to up ante. We need to make this the most interesting book that you can find out of specifically ComicsGate, but hopefully anywhere. So, I mean, that's another thing too, is like, I don't want to repeat, some of the mistakes that I've seen like with Image Comics where you have just thin stories, like that's where I'm getting at now is I'm starting to look at how do we make sure by the time we're on volume 4 that we are really, really digging into like the supplemental material and making sure every dollar that's placed in there is that it's not just going to be a throwaway story, that it has to have impact. You can do great storytelling in 20 pages, but we may even consider doing, like I said, there'll be a third book, and that third book might be a 50-page story by itself, but it can't just be treading water. It has to be a high watermark. It has to have a great story, something that's memorable, something that people are going to be talking about. It has to resonate, and I feel like in order to secure our long-term goals of keeping this stuff going, everything's going to have to get that way. So as we make more money, I'll be bringing in more people to, oversee scripting, more ideas. Probably have an official editor brought in at some point. So, I mean, it's going to be functioning just like a real publisher, but a publisher that gives a shit about, I want the flashy art that Image had, but I want the storytelling chops, of, all the great stories that are out there.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah. And I want people that come to work for me as well to also know that I'm not looking for paint by numbers story. I'm looking for the next level stuff. And if I'm not getting the next level stuff, then there won't be a second job. So, everyone's going to have to push.
Yeah, for sure. Welcome, Common Mark. How's it going? Common Mark, I don't know if you heard, his Twitter account got suspended. I'm not sure why, but
probably all the commie propaganda he does.
Could be. I'm not sure what you are referencing regarding the Cecil cover.
If I would have one, I don't know. I don't know. I was kind of talking about this the other day because people were talking about glow in the dark and things and different types of variants. And for me, I kind of want a little bit of a uniformity amongst all the covers. At least a certain look. And Cecil stuff would be great. It would do well. Even Anna. Anna has access to 150,000 people on her own channel. If I had an Anna cover, it's probably a really good business move. But my OCD kind of, is like, how does that fit in? Is there some way I can make that fit in? Because I'd love to do it, but I'd have to find a way to make it, I don't know, uniform. Somehow it has to fit. And, I just haven't put that much thought into how to do that because I'm so focused on trying to keep everything, all these ships kind of running on time and at a level that I need them at. So, but
right. That's a good point. Justin says the J. Scott Campbell effect. Great artist turned into a simple cover artist because of the demand.
Yeah. Well, he was, I mean, being lazy has something to do with it too. I mean, Jim Lee could just be a cover artist, but he's kept in and did his interiors as well. I mean, he's a workhorse. So some people don't have it. They don't have the gas in the tank to do it.
Right. So. Chuck Adams says, that's why I do my art the way I do it. Pinups and portraits are easier and less stress.
Mm-hmm.
Chaos on Twitter. Pastmaster Dan, hail mystery meat. Hail and Stitch, all right. All right, cool. Comic marks unsuspended. Nice. Yeah,
right.
Glad to have you back. Right on, guys. So speaking of your art, are you like a traditional artist or are you digital artist?
Digital now.
Digital now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I used to draw on paper, and it's fine and dandy, but it's largely a pain in my butt. And more as I progressed, I would see the errors on the page, and I'd start doing the corrections in the screen digitally after everything was scanned in. But then by the time I was done with the corrections, I'd realize that I corrected it so well that for anyone to see the original art would be embarrassing to me. So, I just ended up spending more and more time. And when I was doing Youngblood is when I made the actual transition to digital art. I did, 6 or 10 issue run with Youngblood in like the early 2010s, I think. And, but yeah, I got maybe a third of the way through whatever I did on there. And I was just like, that's it. I'm just going to go all digital because I feel like I'm just wasting time. It's too many steps to scan and, to draw, to erase, when I can do everything with a touch of a button and I can have all the control that I want over the look of the final page. And said I lost my way. No, and look, I mean, people say this all the time. They're like, "Oh, you're leaving money on." That's like the favorite line of everyone. You're leaving money on the table. Like, yeah, but I'm keeping my sanity. And again, I mean, for me, it's kind of like the art is kind of that final product. It's not what's on the paper. It's what I'm giving to the people.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to be sure it's at its best that I can do. And I'm not going to execute that on the paper.
Right. And what kind of equipment do you use? What is your medium in the digital world?
Well, I have a Wacom Mobile Studio Pro, which is weird because I know Kyung had one and the screen popped out and mine is popping out right now.
Ooh.
Which is fucking weird. Yeah. But it still works. So, I'm still getting by on it for now. I use Clip Studio Paint or Clip Paint Studio, whatever it is. That's my main program. It used to be Manga Studio.
Yeah.
It used to be a really stripped down program compared to Photoshop, so it was real easy to use. But now it's getting at Photoshop levels, so it's just like it's kind of like being on Photoshop again. but I'm used to it, so this is what I use. And people say they're surprised because they think digital art should look a certain way, and mine looks like traditional art.
Yeah,
But that's because I barely use any of the tools.
No.
I use the G pen. I don't have brush effects. I don't. Everything in there is pretty much done with the G pen. Even when I do like little splatter, it's just the G pen. I'll make the nib really big and I'll tap around on the screen all over the place. So, yeah. So I mean, I really operate digital art like a caveman. So, yeah.
But it is still digital, so I presume you're working in layers and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. I'll build up layers and I'll turn them on, off, flick them back and forth. What do I like? What don't I like? If I think I like them all, I'll condense them all back down to one layer, and then I'll keep growing more layers as I go along and keep condensing. And I don't like to have a bunch of layers ultimately, so it'll just be a fucking mess. So if you like it, make it one layer, keep on trucking. That's what I do. But again, I do this like a caveman. I'm like a fucking retard. So, some of these other people with better organization skills, like I don't even use like the folders and stuff for layers. I just have layers. And if you have better organizing skills, you can probably find better ways of doing this than I do. But
so
I'll use like a curve tool or something like that if I really need a long curved line, but if I can manage to do it in the swoop of an arm, I'll do that. If I need a perfect circle, like I actually just did a cover and I was like, do I make the tip of this gun? Do I use the circle tool on it, or do I just make a circle with my hand? I was like, I'll just make a circle with my hand, But, I could have used the circle tool on it, but I'm like, no, I'll just use a circle with my hand. It's not a perfect circle, but, how reliant do I want to be on all this stuff? And
exactly.
It's not like the end of the world, but, there's also, the idea, like if I aspire to be Travis Charest, and I did for a good while, I think a lot of artists do. Travis Charest's art is about like geometric, almost perfection. And like if you ever see like when he draws like these cables and they have all these little rings around them, and you're like, why does his cables look better than someone else's cables? And the reason is it's the spacing is like near perfect. He's taking his complete time doing each one of these little rings and very carefully execute each one. It looks nearly perfect. If you go in there and everything is not parallel and just very hand drawn and kind of sloppier, you lose that elegance and that quality that Travis Charest brings. But you are treading closer to like cartooning, like Todd McFarlane. And I was talking about this again recently. Is like Todd has always been my number one. My style is I've gone very much into like Rob and Jim Lee territory, with the body shapes and stuff like that. But I look at Todd and other people's work as well, and that kind of more cartoonier style. The escapist quality is there, because the bones are a little bit more broken. Everything's not so perfect. Right. Or even just the cartooning of some of these silly faces that like Todd would do. It's easier for, I think, like just like in manga, I think it's just easier for people to read it and disappear in the work, and just concentrate on the work. And but when you're trying to reach like Travis Charest, what happens, I think, is everybody's critical mind is going all the time, and they're always trying to be like, well, this could have been that, and that could have been that, and that could have been that. Especially the more you go towards realism, because it's kind of like that uncanny valley, and then it's like, that eye could have been slid a little bit more here. This could have been a little bit more like that. Everything could have been a little bit more perfect. But in that quest for perfection, we just get to a large degree kind of like boring shit. So, the exaggerations start to disappear and everything becomes a little bit more real, and the escapist quality starts to fade away. When Rob was like in his fucking height in X-Force, late New Mutants and X-Force, look at the first time he drew Deadpool. Look at the exaggerations on the features that he was doing at that time. I mean, the lower leg was as long, if not longer, than like the femur bone. So, I mean, these were not human proportions, you know. But I mean, to a kid, I think that's a lot of the appeal. Maybe even to the adult, you know, it's just like Aeon Flux, you know, the art that that
man.
creator was doing as well is so out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if all we're doing is if we're just trying to draw TV or even film, you know, like a Tom Cruise on the page, it doesn't. I don't know. So I'm trying to get more back to kind of the roots of where I wanted to be Todd McFarlane, you know. So how do I do that, and how am I going to implement that? So, you know, now that I've moved from the art tours on Graveyard Shift and I'm heading towards Project Thunder, this is where I feel like I can really take a stylistic detour, and hopefully I can come up with something a little bit different. I'm not talking like you're not going to recognize it. It's still going to be me, but I'm focusing on exaggerating some proportions. You know, some of this is influences from like Andrew Huerta's work. You know, look what he does with some of his proportions. You know, that's bringing it back. Hyung Lee's work, you know, the thickness of the thighs and the butt. You know, I mean, like, you know, I credit Kyung for influencing me on that. You know, I've always been a boob man. But yeah, so when I get to Project Thunder, like that's what I kind of want to do is I want to channel my art as it is, as best I can through Todd McFarlane and see what I can do. Todd McFarlane, Jack Kirby. I want to have some big double page splashes with everything coming out at you, not just aborted baby fetuses, guys, but hands and feet and eyeballs and.
Yeah, for sure.
So that inspires me to work. Back to one of those earlier questions, like that makes me want to get down and draw, doing some of these layouts.
Oh yeah. People ask, John, you still looking into fulfillment for CG campaigns for maybe us in the UK? Would it be based on a certain amount of backers or something? Would smaller campaigns be eligible?
Yeah. So for those that don't know, I hate the idea of having to fulfill my own comics. So in order to conquer this, I had to learn it. And I fulfilled the whole last campaign. I hired people to come in here, friends and family to come in here and help me out, find us what the ins and the outs of fulfillment are, so that I could eventually just bring them in whenever I need them. But that also opens the door to doing fulfillment for other people, because if I understand the process and if people want to pay for it, then sure. To answer that, no, there would be no minimum on it. Any amount would be fine. All people will have to do is, well, they're going to have to reach out to me. I'll have instructions out here pretty quick, because I just went through and finished like the kind of outlining of what I'm going to put out to the public. And then people have to contact me. We'll have to do like a contract, because before your books are here, I'm going to have to order things like the Gemini mailers, the bags, the boards, and all this stuff. So, you know, these things are all going to cost an advance of money. But everyone should have their cash in hand at that point. But these will be like non-refundable things. You know, I'm not going to be able to buy a pallet of Gemini mailers and then be like, someone try to get their money back. You know, like, I decided to fulfill myself, and like, what am I going to do with all these? You know,
Right.
But once your books are here, then I would receive like the remainder of your balance for all the shipping expenses, and then everything goes out. But yeah, basically I'm looking at kind of doing $10 for all United States and, you know, the territories like Guam, US Virgin Islands, stuff like that. You know, so ComicsGate is already set up at that $10 domestic shipping rate. So that's where the majority of the money comes, with 80 to 85% of your backers being in the United States. International orders going out from the US will have we have a one rate for Canada, one rate for Mexico, because those are neighboring countries, and a little bit cheaper. And then we have like the rest of the world rate. And so we take that rate, then we put on our charge on top of that. And all you'll have to do is set your shipping rates to that charge. Now, What was the other question? What else was on there?
Oh, let's see.
Yeah, no amount of backers are important. Smaller campaigns are eligible. All you have to do is set to that rate, guys. And so basically, your books will be shipped from the printer directly to me. So that because you're already going to have to pay to have them shipped from the printer, ideally to you or somewhere else or another fulfillment. So you just save that money and have it go directly to me. If you need to sign these, obviously if you're in the U.S., you're welcome. Well, anyone, if you're international, you're welcome to fly in if you want, and come out here. We'll set you up and make sure you can get them signed. Otherwise, when Richard did Jawbreakers, they have these things called tip-in sheets, and you can pre-sign all these sheets at home, send them back to the printer, and then the printer inserts them into the book. So if flying to the United States or flying to Michigan is too much of a hassle for you, this way people can still get your signature in the book. But international is a pretty tempting thing because you don't necessarily want to charge the U.S. market $20, $40 for shipping, depending on where you're shipping from, because it's such a huge market. I mean, again, volume alone, you want to maximize as many sales. Not everybody can afford $40 shipping,
Right.
or even $20 shipping, but right now in the US market, people are comfortable at 10. So if you can come from the UK or if you can come from Australia and all you have to charge people is $10, boom, potentially you could get a lot more people backing from the States. So that's a real big plus as well. And yeah, same thing. You just set your rates to what we say for domestic, U.S. domestic, and 10, have them shipped out here. And if you need tip-in sheets or if you need to fly out here, I'll have you come down here and, sign.
Wow, what a trip. So is this something you anticipate going into full bore within the next 6 months or so? 3 months?
Well, I'm already doing Cecil's. I got a couple other people that have reached out privately, and they just they haven't even seen the rates. They're just, I don't want to do this. They're like, I don't want to do fulfillment. Hook me up. So yeah, so I already have a few people lining up. So we'll see how that goes. And again, it's going to be a learning process. How many people are going to hop into this at all? And but it is something I'm prepared to. It doesn't have to take off like a rocket, basically. I'm not losing money. I don't have a huge upfront investment in any of this stuff. And at the rates that I set, it should be fine. I feel like it's a low risk. And also, worst case scenario, these people are here to fulfill my books. So my infrastructure is set up. But if I can help other people and take some of that stress off from worrying about whether your books are going to ship or where they are in terms of transit, sending out replacement copies, this will take all that off your back. All you have to do is deliver the money and the product here.
That's a hell of a campaign. How much do you ship for Mexico and Canada?
That'll be in the stuff. It's less than it is in the rest of the world.
All right. Cool. I like that John's thinking about trying some new stuff. Art is like that. You'll never get an answer or be fully satisfied. There's always the elusive best work on the next project. Great.
Yeah, and I already draw like how I draw, So I mean, I gotta spice it up.
Great to see the excitement burning after the past few years. Probably fueled it. That CG.
Yeah, a lot of energy in ComicsGate, man. And also, even with the fulfillment, that wasn't something I necessarily wanted to do. I put it out there for a long time. Guys, someone out there has to do it. Nobody did it. So, and I say this still. If you're in Europe, look around, find out what you can do about doing fulfillment, because it could be the same thing. It might be easier for me to ship my books to you and have you out in, if you live in Germany or somewhere, to you send those out to Europe. And that might knock off $10 on an international charge.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with that. I think it's going to have to end up working that way in the end, because we got to have a solution to publish in counter those.
Yeah, and if you guys wait too long, I might do it. So, I mean, time waits for no man. So it's a good idea. There is risk involved, but someone's going to have to do it.
Yeah. I have a feeling CGUK might come up with something good. They might go and do a publishing arm.
You'd hope, yeah.
Yeah. Welcome, Mandy. Good to have you. Malin Militia. Yeah, that's a phenomenal idea. Oops. Wrong one. And, all right, let's see. I'm going to give this a shot. I'm going to try sharing screen again. Hopefully we don't get that echo, but this time, instead of sharing to an application window, I'm going to try sharing within the same browser. So let's see. All right. Everybody in chat, let us know if there's any echoing.
Oh, we broke 137. Great. No, there's no echo.
All right. Oops, wrong one. Uh-huh. Wah, wah, wah. Yeah, 137, 115 out of 1,442 backers.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet.
Yeah, so there's 14 days left. So again, I mean, all this is a learning thing. This is the first time I've done a mailing list, and it really helped on the front end because we put in a secret perk. So everyone that signed up on the mailing list, they get a trading card, and they also have access to this perk. Saves them $55 on the signature tier.
Yeah.
But we have 14 days left, and we have, I don't know, we probably have around 300, 400 people that got into that tier so far. I think 400. But our mailing list is 2,000 strong, 2,060 people strong.
Oh,
so we're almost at a quarter of the people that backed into that $120 tier, and that's fantastic. So again, it's like, well, let's, what are we going to learn from this in terms of wrapping the first 30 days? After our first 30 days is up, that secret tier disappears. So nobody has access to it after that. So we're going to see, because 120 is basically what they pay. That's a pretty big expense, but it'll be very interesting if people start dropping in a bunch of 120s in the last, 24 hours or so, the first 30 days. So all these guys that sign up on the mailing list, I'm going to give them a heads up, I think, today or tomorrow, and say, hey guys, just so 14 days left, 2 weeks. Save up if interested, just a reminder to that it's going to end in 30 days. And then I'll probably send another one maybe in the last 24 hours as like a final heads up. I don't want to write people too much. But it is important to try to be sure that I do my due diligence to let people know or remind them that it only lasts for 30 days. So we'll see. It's going to be interesting to see. It may be a small bump, and that's fine. That's great if that's the case. It might be a bigger bump. And that would be fantastic. So it's all learning experience. And then the next campaign we do, we're going to try to adjust as best as we can to see if we can change any of these results or improve these results. So.
Right. I figure behind the scenes, you've got access to all this, this data collection in terms of monitoring the progress of your campaign. And I think Dan Prega, he uses this add-on to his browser or something that shows them stats, the progress of your campaign, where you see spikes in activity, and you try and attribute that to things that happen, so you can try and repeat that.
Again, I have access, but I'm much more like a caveman. I mean, I look and I see how the perk did. I'll see. Like right now, I think we're at 400 for the secret perk. So in the last 14 days, where are we going to end at? Is it going to be 425, 450, 500, 600? Who knows? And that'll be enough information for me to say this was a good or a bad thing in terms of the 30-day timeline or the pricing. And so the next time I'll just adjust accordingly, or I'll kind of keep it the same. If it works out well, I'll just keep it the same.
Yeah. I may have lost track, but is this the coming to the end of the first 30 days or second 30 days?
First 30 days, yeah. So
30 days.
yeah, so we have 14 days in the first 30 days left. This thing's only been up for a couple of weeks, so
yeah, that's
and yeah, I mean, but it took off like a rocket. I think largely because of that secret perk. We did like, I don't know if it was like 90,000 in the first 24 hours. I think that might have been what it was. But it's pretty incredible. And, we'll see what it does at the end of the first 30, and then we'll see what it does at the end of the second 30.
Mm-hmm.
All of it. That's what I like, is that it's all new information for us. And, we're all learning. All the ComicsGate campaigns are all learning what we can or cannot do. That's even what I liked about Mike. Like Mike Miller was, he was trying to do all these fancy schmancy. I'm buying ads on Facebook. I'm buying advertisement here. I'm trying to get bumps from celebrities like Ben Shapiro and all this stuff. And I'm doing 10 variant covers for, this campaign or that campaign. I mean, it was interesting. And the temptation was there. People may not understand, but, when you're thinking this stuff out, you really are struggling with the temptation to try to follow suit, because you see that they're doing well enough, and you'd hate to land on your face by taking a different direction. And but for the sake of data, for the sake of information and what truly works and what doesn't, I went the opposite way. I said, well, I'm not going to do all these advertisements. I'm not going to pay Facebook or wherever, Twitter or any other social media, because I feel like the network, the ComicsGate network, is really where the strength of our promotion is at, period. Obviously, it's having people like Ethan that supercharges a campaign. It, puts it on adrenaline, and it's fantastic. But I felt like advertising just seems stupid, because it's such a hard thing to get people motivated. You need a large degree of repetition, and for whoever's selling it to be super excited to convince you enough to back it. And then, like, even the Ben Shapiro thing, I was like, it's risky to me. It doesn't sound like a good idea to, wait for this Ben Shapiro bump, because Ben Shapiro is going to talk about it one time. He's never going to really come back and push it with any kind of real motivation or love or passion. But here we will. In ComicsGate, we'll talk about them. We promote other people's projects all the time. Hey, guys, go check out this one while you're at it. This is pretty cool. And we do it largely with repetition. I pick, maybe about 4 campaigns that I kind of regularly promote. That's where it's at. But I wouldn't know specifically, the variant covers or the ad, if the ads mattered, if I just followed suit. And then if I would have done my next campaign with 10 variant covers plus Facebook ads, and then maybe I get kind of the same results as Mike. But then I would have been like, well, I guess I got the same results as Mike because I did what Mike did. So I took what I considered a riskier, more caveman approach, and I said, well, I'm not going to do advertisements. Mm-hmm. I'm going to put my faith in the ComicsGate network and our own communication, our own passion, and I'm going to, limit, covers. The Volume 2 campaign, it had a variant for the Volume 1 reprint. That was it. And we didn't do the Andrew Huerta until its own campaign much later, and that began as kind of like a laugh. But through the strength of that first campaign, the one that mattered, that thing reached $174,000. It beat Mike's with no Facebook advertisement and no, 6 variant covers or whatever he had on his campaign. So, Mike ultimately passed us because, he leaves his campaign open until doomsday. I don't. I shut him down after 60 days. So we get stuck. And that's the bad thing, is we eventually kind of slide down the rankings. But we make in 60 days what other people may make in 6 months. And I think that's simple, not because we're the far superior product, but because the same people that back Lone Star in 6 months know that I'm going to shut down this thing hard and fast in 60 days. So they just say, well, I'll just get in because John doesn't fuck around and he takes his time seriously with these campaigns. But yeah, so we learned that the Facebook ads weren't necessary and multiple variant covers aren't necessarily necessary in order to improve our profits. So then we did a variant cover campaign 6 months later, and we raised an additional $74,000. But also keep in mind, if I had just released that cover into the campaign itself with no downtime and no new demand built up, if I had just released it into the campaign instead of a $74,000 campaign, it might have been like a $20,000 edition. Which is fine and great. It looks great while you're making that extra 20,000. But if I shut down for 6 months and then open up a very fast, spontaneous variant cover by itself, might make $74,000 with it, with renewed interest. And people that may have backed before, maybe now they're ready to back something. And they got nothing to back. Especially then, we did it in December and January. It's like, hey, everyone's got money in their pocket. So, that probably became beneficial as well because of the complete shutdown of the main campaign. And then we raised that money in the deadest time to try to raise money.
Yeah.
Turned out ComicsGate had money and they were ready to buy some. They're bored. They're so bored. They're ready to buy into a spike campaign. So
yeah, that was a trip. That was a trip.
But we don't know if that's repeatable. We don't know because that had a little bit of like boredom. It had an angle on it with Mike and Edwin, and it was fun. But we don't know if it's repeatable. So when I do another variant campaign, maybe it does 25 grand, maybe it does 50 grand, maybe it does 75. I don't know.
Right.
But I know that we did do that in 30 days. Keep that in mind. So that's the one campaign we've done that didn't make 6 figures, but we also only left it open for 30 days. So
yeah,
if we do one again, I don't know. I don't know if it'll be open for 30 days or 60 days because 60-day campaigns are long. If I could do these campaigns, if I felt I could comfortably bring in all these people that I bring in 2 months in 1 month.
Oh yeah.
I said this before. I'd probably start doing eventually 30-day campaigns. But you got to know that people are tuned in to you all the time because otherwise they're going to miss out.
Yeah.
So, and it might be a bad thing because I've done 60-day campaigns. So now people might expect 60-day campaigns. So you really have to kind of, inform your audience over time. Like, hey, we're going to do this switch to 30-day campaigns. I'd love to do that. That'd free up 11 months of my year. So, more time to produce the book. And I hate being in sales mode because I feel like I have to be out there and I have to start talking to people.
Right.
And that can be a drag as well. Creatively, it's definitely a drag. Very few people successfully campaign and produce their work for their book at the same time because you sit down and start drawing. You're like, I need to be online.
Yeah.
I got to know about this book. So
I think that's why some creators try and get a big chunk of the book done prior to launching live. That might be one of the reasons.
Getting the book done before you launch live, that's a privilege. Cost wise, I only recommend that to someone that is only going to draw that book regardless of if it fulfills or not, or funds or not. Otherwise that's way too much of a risk. You don't even know if there's an audience. Look, it's not just the platform, it's also the type of book you do. You can't just do a book for you. You have to do something that people are going to actually want to buy for them. So, you have to really think this stuff out. And comics through the history of time, some rise, most fall. So just because you did your everything right, like you built up your platform, you got all your ducks in a row, but you release a product that your audience, this audience, may not be interested in. So you have to take that into consideration as well. There's a lot of ways to kind of fuck up, and only doing a book for you, that's probably the best way to fuck up.
Yeah, that's a fact. Johnny says the last minute secret perk backers will give this campaign a shot in the arm. Great strategy. Should be fun to watch.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to watch. I don't know if it'll be a big boon or not. We'll wait. We'll see. Like I said, might be a small bump. We'll learn from it though.
Do you already know what your? Have you already made plans as to how you're going to close out the first 30 days? Like, are you gonna like do a big stream on your channel or?
Yeah, I'll do a stream. Yeah, I mean that's what everyone should do. Everyone hop on. That's everyone's plan. Hop on your channel and stream. And if the pearly gates of Ethan Van Sciver open up at some point and call you in, you say, "Hell yeah, I'm going over to the Ethans." But you can't count on that.
Right,
that's
exactly.
again that's a privilege. That's that's Ethan's time. He does. We don't pay Ethan, and if he decide to do that, hell yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Welcome, Stefani. How's it going? People says, just finished my first campaign. We'll be printing the books in the next week or so. Looking forward to sending them out soon. First campaign, a learning experience, and reward backers with limited edition.
Yeah,
it's been great fun. Learned a lot so far. Yeah. So
and here's my advice. Again, guys, would be happy to have you along if you're looking for fulfillment. But here's my advice if you're doing it by yourself. If you're in the United States, at least. I feel that, I've set all my campaigns at $10 domestic. And this last campaign, the last two campaigns, actually, I put my international, I think the last two campaigns. No, I think this one, $15. And for international. And that's less than international actually costs. But that makes it cheaper for people that are, even in Australia. A package to Australia can cost $40. Like I've sent plenty to Australia that are $40 a pop now from this last campaign. Largely, those are like fully loaded packages. So, but that $10 and $15 international, that's now understand you're assuming some risk, but the risk is really that you would have more international backers than would make up the difference. Because what you do is you take whatever quote profit that you have from that $10 domestic and you slide that over. Again, US backers is 85% of all of your backing. So you take that extra money that you get from them and you justify that by saying, well, this $10 is shipping and handling. $9.99 is general shipping and handling for a lot of things that people buy online or off TV, whatever. So it's not a big jump. But you're taking your shipping and handling charge, and then you slide that over to smooth over the international. And if you wanted a little bit more security, maybe make it $16 per package. And I didn't do that because, again, I'm a little OCD. And 15, like it's a 5, it's half a 10. There's symmetry. So, but 16 would probably even smooth it over a little bit more, and it's still less than even shipping something to Canada is likely going to cost you. So if you put it at $16, again, you have to assume the risk on this. Don't hold me responsibility, but this is my suggestion. Make your domestic Gemini mailer packages at 10, do your international at 16. You may not make a lot any profit off that at all, actually. And I think when I did the last campaign, our last shipment for volume 2 plus the Huerta campaign, our shipping charges were $35,000. So we had enough domestic, and I ran through the numbers, and I did this every which way I could afterwards. And I think I might have paid $100 out of pocket. So we actually came really fucking close to whatever that full final digit number was. I didn't make any money from the shipping at all, but I made it to where all these international backers hopefully can swoop in, or will learn that they can swoop into these our Graveyard Shift campaigns or Project Thunder campaigns and get away with a $15 shipping. So that's huge. That's only $5 more than the American backers are paying.
Man, that's a hell of a savings.
Yeah, you won't make profit. So generally, I mean, maybe you make a little profit. Depends on how your international backings are versus your domestic backings or whatever else. Yeah, or you can just set your rates to what I'll have out on a rate sheet here, and probably this week. And
you can have us do your fulfillment for you. So the problem is that now that you've zeroed out all your shipping and stuff, now you have to bag and board for yourself. You have to order your Gemini mailers, your bags, your boards, your everything has to get put together. It can take weeks to fulfill. Mark Polton did our first fulfillment on volume 1. Took him about 6 weeks, I think 6 to 8 weeks to finish fulfillment on that campaign. So I think we did ours in about when I did it here. I think we did the initial volume 2 campaign, because we did some overlap. Basically, I think it was about 3 weeks and 1 week. So we managed to do 2 campaigns in a month. But this is all learning curve stuff. I think we can definitely get that down and make that even faster. Because eventually we'll have to bring on more people to smooth over, more people handling a shipping computer and printing labels. I need to get 2 people running on that, continuously. But then I need to have about 8 people doing everything from getting the bags and boards ready, stuffing them, and wrapping them in the mailers. So, almost a 10-person project to really make this optimal. But we have to have the volume to justify bringing in that many people all the time. Right now, I can bring in about 6 people.
Okay. Wow, that's trippy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, people's having a lot of fun with this project. This is called Phantom Volume 1. So anyone interested, go check that out.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. Welcome, Matt Cisco. Pat Master Dan, welcome. He says, I would rather sell 1,000 at $10 than 10 at $100.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Matt Cisco picked up the first print tier. He says, that's all you get until I get bored.
Well, thanks, Matt. Yeah, that first print tier, that's no joke. That was the most expensive tier on there, I do believe. That was the last of the volume 1s that are going out on these campaigns. Like I said, minus what Mark and I have, and what the people who worked on that, their own personal comps. That's it.
Right. Justin got all the art done for Unstitched before launch. It was a risk. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a risk. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, because, look, guys, the numbers on doing these campaigns, the art alone, depending on how many pages you're commissioning, if you're paying an artist, if you are your own artist, that's fine, but you still have to put a monetary value on your time to really kind of calculate if you're making money or not. Same, and that goes with the fulfillment thing too, because if you do that where you move everything over, but you don't make any money, it's like you used a lot of time. So how much money did you lose in your time to actually box and board and put all these together? Would you have been better off just getting a fulfillment company doing it? Let them deal with all the headaches and the personal responsibility of these packages, while you can just go back online and do whatever it is you need to do, whether that be play some video games or make some more comics. But yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of other things to justify in time. So when you're drawing an entire book, you can't necessarily say, well, I did that for $0. You want to put a value on that. So what is your page rate that you're doing that? Or what is the page rate that you're giving to other people? Is it 100 a page? Is it 200 a page? Is it 300 a page? What is your time worth, or what is their time worth? Now you have a base point for how much money you need to raise just to cover that one expense and that time spent. So if you're writing, same thing. You have to give yourself a page rate, how much time you're invested on there. And, this is how you start getting your true costs, your colorist, your letterer, your pre-press guy, then your printing charges, your shipping charges. Your shipping can be separate because of how Indiegogo is. But anyways, yeah, you put all that together and then you have your true cost. And you'll know exactly what you need to actually truly make.
Right.
You can't just say I did this for free and $0, because what you're going to find out at the end is when it's all said and done, you're starving and your bills didn't get paid.
Yeah. That's a good point. A lot of people, some creators will try and ignore the fact that they're putting in their own time to make their passion project a reality.
Yeah. Commie Mark says it sounds very socialist to him.
Oh,
Yeah. I've heard that before, and that's why I said, yeah, definitely. And I tell people who feel uncomfortable about this socialism is just consider it a shipping and handling charge. That's it. And then I get to do with my profits as I want. And what I choose to do with my profits is slide them into my international backers' fees to make it easier on them.
mm-hmm. Yeah. Having the book finished in advance is only wise if you're making everything by yourself.
Yeah. Well, I have a I think it's the 254,000, the beat the bat stretch goal, our ultimate stretch goal. If we hit that, that's to make the next book fully drawn and ready to go to print by the time we launch the campaign. So, but that's because we're getting so much front capital. And again, I'm just kind of putting it right back out into the art teams, to where I can take that risk. Now, if nobody comes in and backs the next campaign, that sucks because now I just spent all that money for a book no one bought. But again, certain risk, I think ultimately that's the business model I want to get into where things are done in advance and we have a strong enough audience that I'm at a low risk to lose my shirt. But we have to be careful. So that's why I put the goal it as a stretch goal. The money has to be built in. And that way I minimize any risk to myself. So
Matt Cisco says, had to get it. Big fan and collector.
Yeah, thank you, Matt. Appreciate you, man.
People wants to know, who would you rather fight, 4 drunk Cecils or 33 sober midget Cecils?
It's a hard question because I don't know how sloshy Cecil gets, like standing when he's lit. If he's 3 sheets to the wind and falling down, yeah, I definitely take 4 drunk Cecils. 33 midget Cecils just sounds like they would probably win, especially if they hear all the shit I talk about midgets.
Big fan collector. Why are we here? Why is the screen? How do we know it isn't Deadwood Dale?
Oh, shit. I went on his channel the other day and I had a black mask on and basically when I popped on camera, I popped up looking like his avatar, which is great. I think that's funny because he keeps interviewing people like dressed like me now. He did the Doug and Mike interview yesterday and it was his avatar with my hat on it. Yeah, I mean, if you didn't know any better, if you're Doug or Mike, you might think it's a troll, but he uses that avatar all the time.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and he's not the worst imitation of me now because Rob Arnold is. So I got a lot more respect for Dale. Rob Arnold's imitation is terrible. He cannot do an American accent. Like, one, it's not even like my pitch, and he just sounds like someone from 1800s South.
Oh man. Yeah, everybody back Graveyard Shift 3. And as you've shared with everyone in the past, this is like a mashup of the Universal Monsters and the X-Men.
Yeah, what if the Universal Monsters were the X-Men? Yeah. So that was the start of the core. We took Dracula, Frankenstein, Frankenstein's monster, the Bride of Frankenstein, and who am I missing? Dracula, Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein. Oh, some other tropes. So like there's another guy, Harker. He's our ghost, like our haunted castle. He's the living AI hologram that's inside of Castle Dracula. But yeah, those are like Graveyard Shift. The core team was like all of the nods to the Universal Monsters. We have kind of two. I was trying to explain this the other day. We have kind of 2 different things going on. One is like our monster-based heroes, and then the others are kind of like our stand-in superheroes. So the guy who you're looking at here, totally inspired by Cable. He has an eye patch. Cable had his glowing eye. So one cybernetic eye, smoking a cigar, which is what Cable used to do. He has Shatterstar's little whatever gut gun, that little pirate gun right there. And but yeah, he's basically our Cable stand-in. The guy behind his name is Brahm, by the way. He's instead of a time traveler, he's like a dimension hopper. And these are his monster killing crew behind him. The guy on the left, Tar Pit, he's kind of like a Hydro Man or Sandman type character, except his body can turn to tar and control tar. And then Wrecker in the background, he's got a big hammer. That's about it. So, but we also introduced some villains in the first supplemental books, and these guys are stand-ins for like 80s slasher horror. So we have like a Freddy character, a Chucky character, our Michael Myers / Jason Voorhees stand-in character called Killer 99. We did an origin story in the last supplemental for him. So we dip into that, and people who have checked out volume 2, they know that we've also gone further back in time, and we've tapped on something which is all going to lead towards volume 6. So I'm going to leave that one little bit out because it's kind of a spoiler. But yeah, so we have our horror based kind of superhero characters, but then we have the superhero kind of world. Which kind of bumps with, just like Spider-Man. Spider-Man's like a horror-based superhero. Science experiment gone awry. Boom, he bit by a radioactive spider, and he turns into a Spider-Man. I mean, it's 100% horror. The Hulk is horror. Nuclear bomb turns him into, the Hulk. So, anyways, but yeah, we're bumping these two worlds together. So people are going to meet these monster-based kind of superheroes. The more kind of standard superhero, like the Marvel superhero, DC superhero. And then we're going to have these worlds collide into volume 6 as they go up against, a mutual threat. And we'll probably have some of the bad guys working with the good guys at this time. So, we got a lot planned, and a lot of these new characters that we're introducing in volume 3 here, like Ruiner. Well, not him specifically. This is Ruiner here. His name is Genoa. A lot of these guys are going to die, so you're going to meet them, hopefully get to know and respect them over the next 2 volumes of like supplemental added work. But by the time we get to volume 6, the big throwdown, some of these guys aren't going to make it out. So
damn, such good artwork.
Yeah, that's the Rob Willis page right there. Beautiful. There's Kyung Lee's Little Graveyard Shift. Little Graveyard Shift, the first one we did with Nerd Wonder. This one we're doing with Kyung. Completely kid-friendly. If you would hand your kid a little Halloween book on vampires and monsters, you can safely hand them this as well.
Oh, so this is actually like a sequel to the first Little Graveyard?
It's not. They're not really sequels. They're kind of they're just standalone little kind of kid stories. They're really simple, basic. But that's what I was saying. We were talking about doing a book. I have to talk to Kyung about whether he'd be even available for this. But 100 pages, something like that, where it'd be a straight up kids book that you can sit down, maybe even a hardcover that you could sit down and read with your kid.
Oh yeah.
So, here's a good Halloween story for people's kids.
Yeah.
People also wanted to see like plushies, I think is what little stuffed characters of them as well available that you could give your kid. And maybe I don't know anything about that world of making that kind of merchandise, so I don't know, but anything is possible.
Right. Absolutely. So we got. Oops. Uh-oh. Yeah. Let me see. So
that's our collected edition right there.
And you were talking earlier about it being for the time being at least, a 6-issue series.
Yeah, 6 volumes. Yeah, all of them right around 50 pages a piece.
Have you already completed all the story behind the entire 6 issues, the remaining 6, the remainder?
No, we have it. We know where we're going, so we have it essentially plotted. But all the fine details and like there's nothing hard between here and 6 yet. So I mean, we can flex anywhere we feel like we need to flex at this point.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, every volume is going to have a different color logo.
Right. Yeah. So volume 1 was the full green. Volume 2 is blue. 3 is orange. 4 is undetermined. And yeah, so this is what a collected edition is going to look like. So 3 and 4 is going to be orange and whatever on its side. So these will have a uniformity between them all. And yeah, and we'll just keep on going all the way to 6 and hopefully far beyond that as well. And then we'll get into those $10 reprint issues, which will be like volume 1 again. It'll be a 50-page floppy. Volume 2, 50-page floppy.
Wow. How many pages can you go on a floppy before you have to consider something like saddle bound
with like a spine or whatever? Yeah. Probably not much further than 50.
Okay.
So
is there a certain is there a particular reasoning for the colors you chose and in which order those colors come?
No.
In the volume?
I think before we did the first one, I think Eric might have even been involved. I think I sent it off to Eric and Mark and Eric Weathers, for anyone that doesn't know, and Mark Polton. I think I sent because I had my colorist do a few versions or a couple versions. He did a blue and a green, and I'm like, hey, what one do you guys want? What one do you guys like more? And they were like, both of them, Mark and Eric, I believe it was Eric, were like green because it's ghoulish. And me, I wanted the blue, but I'm like, okay, all right, we're gonna go with green. So outvoted on my own book. But no. Well, it's Mark's book too. But yeah, so but that's how you're gonna have to work it as a team. So I'm like, yeah, I'll sacrifice the blue. We'll do that as the next one. Yeah, and we'll see as we keep going on.
Yeah, I love this idea. It's pretty cool. And both colors actually look really good here. Yeah. Jay Fairclough says, just stopping by, showing some love to my boy Malin, and big up WyzGyz every time.
Oh, thanks, Jay. Appreciate it.
Appreciate
your all your little meme gifts as well. I watch them all the
time. Real question: what does the future hold for John Malin? Project out a year or so.
Well, personally, I mean, it's Project Thundar. But like I said, the overall big plan of what I'm doing is largely being a publisher, putting out one Graveyard Shift campaign a year. If, sales remain strong and fans keep wanting it, we're going to have, 3 books with about 50 pages apiece, all new material in the blood bag tiers. And building up Project Thundar to match what we're outputting with in Graveyard Shift, to where we're putting 5-6 artists, 5-6 writers to work all the time, and a new talent, because I always want to keep bringing in a new talent each campaign as well. So that'll probably keep going on for a while. That we'll probably always put them into like the supplemental. And what's new talent? I mean, in this case, it's Rob Willis, who's done Shinobi Sasquatch. And, is he new? I don't know. He's kind of been around here for a while because of the longevity of the Shinobi Sasquatch campaign. But like I said, I think we might actually be published before that book. And so that would make this supplemental his first published work, I believe, interior work. And and also Joe Ball, who's working with Rob Arnold. And, seeing what they can do. And, I really want to get to also where we really start opening up. Like, again, there's this mystery kind of third book that I want to do, which, will be the third of the 50 pages in the blood bag. And I've strongly considered making that a book that would be one writer, one artist, complete standalone, full on story. Like, again, my quest is kind of to have real quality story going on, something with emotion, depth, something that can stand the test of time, to make sure that we're not getting too thin. Because the action that we do in the main volume campaign, my stories, now Aaron's, these are all fast paced, like action, move, 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 move. So I want to be sure that we're also keeping that emotional depth going in here, and also having action as well. Like just whatever that third book is going to be, I want to bring in like one really great writer with a really great idea, and one really great artist. And maybe that might be a semi-permanent spot. I don't know yet, because I haven't fully thought it out. But then we would do that again on the next campaign, and the next campaign, and the next campaign, and we keep the supplemental book for probably a story that I'm going to write, get somebody else to draw. If Rob wants to stick around, do more Ruiner, we'll be doing that for sure. But if he can't handle that, or wants to go on to other stuff, then he's more power to him. But yeah, so something that I will write, and I will bring in somebody else to draw, and then an additional 25 pages for new talent. So new writer, new artist.
Yeah, that's really cool that you're a huge supporter of putting other people to work, and because this is a great opportunity in ComicsGate to continue their careers and all that. And
well, Rob Liefeld helped me get my career started, and I'm trying to continue that. What he started. He started a lot of careers, all the way back to the early Extreme days. Danny Mickey, Dan Fraga, Marat Michaels, Stephen Platt. He gave all these guys opportunity, and I want to do my best in my own way. I don't have a multi-million-dollar company or anything like that, and obviously comics aren't like how they were. But as long as ComicsGate keeps kind of gifting me these opportunities, I want to be sure that I do my best to kind of pay that forward, and bring in, give other new people a shot. It's like a rotating thing. It's not like Joe Ball doing this thing is like it's some kind of slight if he's not doing the next thing. It's just he's in a spot for that new talent that I want to help expose. So if they get a boost in their career or more attention on their next ComicsGate projects, that's fucking great.
Right on. Let me see. Yeah, this is crazy. StreamYards is funny sometimes, because I'm suddenly seeing a burst of spam, and yet I don't see it on the YouTube side. So, it's coming through Twitch. That's why. Oh, I don't typically have a Twitch window open at the same time. I only have a YouTube one open. So I keep an eye out for if YouTube decides to false flag my channel and take down my stream, as they sometimes do with creators. But all right, I'll deal with that later. That's weird. Yeah, this is a trip. I love this. I love this book here. And then,
the stretch goal wise, like one thing, the main one I want to point out is the $200,000 stretch goal. When we hit 200,000, I believe we will. When we hit $200,000, we're going to add 10 pages to the supplemental. But if we do that in the first 30 days, we're adding 20 pages. So that's kind of the goal, to boost our supplemental from a 40 to a 60-page comic book.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so keep an eye on that, guys, throughout the campaign. We got 14 days to hit that 200,000 mark. Might happen if people get in there and hit those secret perk tiers. Those are $120 perk. So
help me understand a little bit more about how stretch goals work with in reference to the timing of a campaign. So do creators typically lay out their stretch goals for the first 30 days of funding, or similarly if they opt for 60 days of funding?
Well, my stretch goals go until the end. So I have little built-in bonuses if we do something by 30 days.
Nice.
But we can get to 253 on the last day, and that stretch goal would would be met. And that's the move the production forward for Volume 4. So, and have it ready before we launch the next campaign. So we got to do that by the end of the deal. Otherwise, we just do the next campaign as we do it. We do it on a fundraising purpose. We wait for the art to get done and then the books to be delivered. But ultimately, that's where we're going to be at. It may not be on this campaign. It might be on the next one or maybe the one afterwards. But I believe we'll get there. But that's, same with Project Thunder. I want to get to the point where we're producing all the stuff in advance. The campaign will be there to get order numbers, and then as soon as we're done, they may even be getting printed before the campaign is done. With limited numbers. So, like, if I know, like, say, maybe we get 200 or 2,500 backers on this one.
Mm-hmm.
So I would prepare for, maybe 3,000 copies to be printed in advance for the next one. And then I just cap the tiers at 3,000 or whatever equals 3,000 at the end. So people would be limited to get whatever. If they want to get a copy, they have to get it from whatever tiers are left. So, and that might bring a little bit more excitement too, because, if there's only 1,000 available in the blood bag, people may run to the blood bag, for $75 so they don't have to jump up to like $100 tier. Oh no, there's a volume 4 in the $100 tier left. Go over there, So who knows how that might even work out. But the benefit of that would be that we have everything printed in advance. Everyone can get a copy if they want to get a copy. Get early. And as soon as the campaign wraps, we would have the books sitting right here and ready to ship. So, ultimately, these things go out within, or arrive to your house within a week or two after the campaign's over.
Absolutely. Totally cool.
Yeah. And then if we can do that 2 times a year, fucking great.
And let's see, make sure I got all that. Absolutely. That would be a trip. Let's watch this trailer. If it'll play. Graveyard Shift.
Volume up on that? Usually those things are like at half. Okay, there you go.
Yeah. Great. Am I having internet problems? Yeah. I take it it's clocking on your end too, right?
Yeah, it's just rotating. Which brings me to my next point. For people, at least on your own channels, if you have your own campaigns that you want to show off, StreamYard now lets you upload up to 5-minute videos. I wouldn't recommend uploading a 5-minute video, though. Up to 5 minutes or 100 megabytes is like the cap. But this video here is less than a minute long, and it's 60 megabytes. So think of that as kind of like a scale. But you can take this video or any video for your own personal projects or a project you want to promote for a friend or something like that, and you can upload those into StreamYard, and they will play uninterrupted.
Cheers to the night. What did you say? Graveyard Shift returns with co-creator Mark Polton and jawbreaking artist Aaron Alfecci to bring you more villains from the darkest corner of the universe. A master plan unfolds. New heroes, surrounded by enemies everywhere, Graveyard Shift, upon returning to Earth, must join forces with the Dimension Hopper Grom and his commando unit of superpowered monster to fight off a werewolf infestation that has begun terrorizing the world in their absence. 50 pages of full-color, pulse-pounding action. Also, we're offering a new supplemental book, including a story by myself and new art talent, Rob Willis. Presenting the debut of Ruiner, the last of his people, Genoa comes to Earth to stop the genocide. Also featuring an additional story by Rob Arnold with art by Joe Ball and Little Graveyard Shift by Kyung Lee. And more, only on Indiegogo.
Yeah, when you upload these to your own StreamYards, these things play perfect. Like the audio is good and crisp, the video is crisp. So you can upload. I don't know. I don't think I've seen a limit. So guys, you can upload as many of these videos as you want. And then when you're doing live streams, if you just need a minute to yourself, you just hit play on those bad boys and let them roll for, you know, however long. I took, was it Lord Finatra's Mike Oxmall song that he did with Cecil? That thing's like 4 minutes long. So I played that last night on Jack Show. I got up, I went to the bathroom, I came back, and no one even know, you know. I think we talked about it, but that's only because we, you know, it was being talked about. But so having these little clips like this, if you get something that you can do for 4 minutes that's funny and entertaining, like that Mike Oxmall, from Lord Finatra, you know, pop that in and give yourself a bathroom break. Or just give yourself a little time to kind of think. Like if you're in a spot where it's like, okay, conversation's kind of dry, check this out, guys, click. And then that gives you time to kind of reorganize a little bit. So there, you know, it's going to be a powerful tool for people. And comic skaters, you know, definitely have, I would say, have one of your own videos up there for your own projects. But because we are a network, you know, try to find, you know, at least maybe 2 other ones that you can kind of just pop up randomly during like a prolonged live stream. Hey guys, I want to watch a video on so-and-so's trailer. Yeah, sure. Why not? Here we go. Click. And it's going to be perfect audio, perfect video every time. And it's great.
Nice. Is that in the brand section where you play them from?
Yeah, you go to brand, and then it used to be overlay. Now it's video something because they separated them.
Okay. Yeah, I do see overlay as well as video clips.
Yep. So put them in the video clips.
Oh my
God. Up to 100 megabytes or 5 minutes long, I believe is what it is.
Nice.
So you can do a 1 minute video, and it should be able to upload no problem. Like great quality.
Sweet. Metal Movies and Brewskis says, "Ale ComicsGate Strong 2020. Ale chat, ale panel.
Ale.
People's promoting the book. Awesome. Yeah, everybody back Graveyard Shift 3. Freaking cool.
Yeah, please do. What are you know? You guys got 14 days. If you want, you know, save up for that secret perk. If you guys were on the mailing list, you should have the link to that.
Yeah.
You can back that as much as you want to. It's not like you have to just do it one time. So, you know, don't feel bad if you want to back it twice.
Nice. Yeah, that's a hell of a good deal.
I fucked up. I'm going to have to do so many sketches, man. I think I'm probably like in the secret perk alone. If we're at 400, I have to do 400 sketches with that by itself. So, if there's like a big flood by the end of the first 30 days, like that's the only downfall is like, yeah, it might push us to 200,000. But the bad thing is going to be that I'm probably going to have to do about 1,000 sketches. So I'm going to have to get started on those.
All right, everybody back this. Let's get this backer count from 1444 to 15,000. And everybody get this secret tier, especially you know, those who are on the mailing list. Let's see here. We want to see that number bump up to 15,000 backers before.
Or 1,500 would be fine, yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, Metal Movies and Brewskis back the book day 1. Book is awesome.
Yeah, people says piss break ads just like normal TV. Yeah. You could, you know, people with a little bit of editing skills, you could take multiple campaigns, put those 2 video clips together, put in like, you know, basically a commercial break, a 2.5 minute commercial break.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's going to be great for your show or not, but you know, everyone likes to have a piss break.
Yeah, absolutely. People say, "Sweet, I edited my promo vid to 30 seconds. Excuse me, like a real ad." Thought about that when you did the 30-second ad invite a while back.
Yeah, because they were limited to 30 seconds, but now you can do up to 5 minutes. I would not recommend a 5-minute ad for your book at all.
Right.
For anyone. 30 seconds, a minute, maybe at best a minute and a half. I think, you know, attention spans are limited.
Yeah, so you got to be prepared with like an elevator speech or elevator pitch. So everyone gets in a very short period of time
Yeah, and that's why I say also, like it's important when you guys do your trailers to put in as much information as you can, about doing a voiceover, because it is your best pitch, and especially if it's being presented, in high quality, good audio, on somebody else's stream from them doing these video uploads. That saves you from having to come up with your perfect pitch every time you're on a live stream, because sometimes something slips by. So instead, just play that clip of mine. Okay, bink, done. Now
Yeah.
all of a sudden it's that perfect recorded video that you did when you're, high on coffee.
Exactly. Let's see here. People says you'll need some sketch therapy. Hopefully, Project Thundar will incorporate some love for the Herculoids.
Yeah, so Project Thunder is like Graveyard Shift is the homage to sci-fi horror, largely films, that we like. But it kind of crosses back into like 90s comic books, stuff that Mark and I, enjoyed. Whereas Project Thunder is much more about cartoons from the 80s. And even though Herculoids are older than that, look, I got love for the Herculoids, and I could definitely see them fitting into a Project Thunder type environment. No problem. So,
Yeah.
that's not the name of the book, Project Thunder. It's a placeholder. The name won't be announced until we're going live. I don't know. But it's called that because the core of the idea was that I wanted to draw something that was like Thunder the Barbarian, where we get a world with black magic, black science. So I just called it Project Thundar. I'm like, I don't know where I'm going, but this is where it's this is where it's going to end up. So that's where the idea started. But also, like I said, you can't just necessarily do a book that like it's for you, So you got to think about the market, about what comic skaters are. Comic skaters are largely, frustrated, superhero fans from Marvel, DC. Just tired of the politics. So superheroes are still like, the most popular thing out there, I think, especially for this group. So how do I incorporate that into this Thundar world? And that again becomes part of the writing challenge and the concept challenge of how to make all this stuff interesting, because you can do a barbarian type story, in a sun sword or a lightsaber really jazzes that up a little bit, but they've already done that with Thundar, so how do I jazz my concept up a little bit more? So again, these become the challenges and the fun at times of trying to figure all this stuff out, make it as best as it can be, as commercial as it can be, because again, it's like, I mean, what I definitely see at some point is, like for Zeta level, our hero coming up, the fucking cliff, and there's the woman chained to the rock, with her gown blowing in the wind. Like that's gonna happen. It's like someone's got to save this broad. So,
Yeah. Save the damn stress.
So we're gonna have that, but there's also the idea has kind of evolved, where we're gonna be dealing with probably different time periods, to where we can actually work in like the superhero age, and people will be able to see what was going on in this time. And then we'll be able to use like the added books that will eventually come with Project Thundar to kind of expand on some of these different eras and different characters, and try to flesh that out almost in like a kind of a way of building out like a Marvel universe. We start with Spider-Man, then we learn, these spin-off characters, and then we push them out, and then we keep pushing those out, and till we go as far as we can with them.
Good. And Stefani mentioned Dark Star.
Is that the DC book that Sheree was on?
That part I'm not sure of. I thought that there might have been I may be totally wrong here. Because
80s cartoon, you had what was it John Blackstar, you had Brave Star. John Blackstar is something that also it's like you got power swords in there. It's got some weird Sleeping Beauty Seven Dwarf thing going on too. But hey, whatever. Yeah, I mean, again, these are all kind of things that I'm pulling from. The Thundercats and He-Man. Probably a lot more in terms of He-Man, in terms of some of the designs that were going on with He-Man, because they were fun designs.
Yeah. I love
And trying to figure ways of coming up with like my own Merman or Trapjaw type characters. Colorful. They're still colorful. They're not depressing, but larger than life. How do I reimagine Trapjaw? So, these are going to be kind of, again, some of the things that I'm going to be, it basically, it's there to keep me entertained as I draw from page to page to page and say, how do I keep making this fresh for me? And, so I imagine it's going to be a relatively fast paced book, but, I'm going to have definite moments where I slow it all down and get into the nitty gritty.
Nice.
I'm not planning on nudity, but I guess there maybe could be some at some point. I don't know. Probably not. We'll see. It's going to be close.
Stefani says it's a cartoon from the 80s. All right.
Dark Star?
Yeah.
Let me look it up.
Sounded vaguely familiar.
But here's a more obscure one. Oh, yeah. Well, all that came up was Black Star. Yeah, John Blackstar popped up, and Dark Star Lania from X-Men cartoon. But yeah, and even more unknown is the Zone Riders or Spyro Zone. Not many people remember that, but like that was something I would catch from time to time when I was a kid, and I was like, oh my god, this is weird. Fucking, it was like dark. It was like these zones would pop or these cities, and it turned their people's skins would start to kind of like, I don't know, rot or discolor, and they were all turned into like zombies, and then you get these soldiers coming through in these like cool ass vehicles kicking ass. So, there could be a zone in Project Thundar where people are being put into zombies. I wouldn't write that out. Silver Hawks. I mean, I don't know if I would go so far as a Voltron type lion, but maybe, they had cool bases in the old cartoons. Like Thundercats had a really cool fucking base.
Right.
Mask had a really cool fucking base. That gas station built into the mountainside or whatever it was. And
that was a fun one.
Yeah.
People says, John, Reanimator, American Werewolf, and Nightmare on Elm Street. Keep one, erase one, and pass one to a friend. Who gets what?
Well, the best is American Werewolf. Like, that's something, like, again, it's kind of like, that's kind of got it all. It's got the drama. You feel bad for the main character. It's got comedy in it. The effects are good. It's actually scary. Like when that business dude is like going up the subway escalator and it's like pulling him back down towards the fucking werewolf, and you just start seeing the werewolf. That's so good. I would almost want to pass it off though, because it's like you want people to, share in that experience. Erase one, probably Reanimator. I know it's a cult look, it's a cult classic for a reason though. It's like, a smaller amount of people are going to get it. Nightmare on Elm Street though, like that terrified me.
Oh yeah.
When I was a kid. And like if I lived on a street called Elm Street when those movies were coming out, I probably would have freaked out a little bit.
Yeah, that would be creepy.
I guess I would keep American Werewolf. I would erase Reanimator and give Nightmare on Elm Street off to a friend, but probably a friend with a kid or something, because I think it's a lot more scary for a kid. That's how it's best enjoyed when you're like 12, and that's true too, because kids experience things in ways that adults never can again. And for kids, magic and all things that go bump in the night, they're real. Like it's all fucking real. Like you can tell them it's not real. It doesn't matter. They're still going to believe this shit's real until they hit a certain fucking age.
Right.
So, cartoons, all this stuff, it has a realism to kids. And that's why I think, place and time when you experience certain movies, like never-ending story. That's something that carries on with you for the rest of your life, because how you felt that movie when you experienced it at that age. Now, if you hand it off to someone that's 40 and never saw it before in their life, they'd be like, maybe it's okay, but overall it's not that great. I mean, but to anyone that experienced Never Ending Story when they were, 9, 10, like that was everything.
Yeah, I gotta agree there. Dark Star is a Carpenter film.
Oh, a film. Oh, okay.
And it came up with that too. Voltron running shoes. Running shoes? I'm not sure. American Werewolf, my all-time fave. Brilliant.
Yeah, and that was who's the director on that? John Landis, right?
Is it?
Yeah, he directed Michael Jackson's Thriller.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Then he killed a couple of kids on a movie set.
What?
Yeah, he chopped off their heads.
What the? Was it like
They were filming a scene. It was, I believe, it was supposed to be a recreation of the Vietnam War, and this was for like, what was it? Tales from the Dark Side of the movie, or something. The Twilight Zone, the movie. It was one of those things. One of those anthology films.
Oh dear! Wow.
But it was supposed to take place with a guy in the Vietnam War, and he has these 2 Vietnam kids, and he's running through like a rice paddy kind of type situation, and this helicopter is above them, and it's a real helicopter, and it malfunctioned, and it landed in the water right next to him, and the blades were still twirling, and it decapitated both of the kids, and I don't know if the guy got decapitated or not, but they were all 3 of them were dead. The guy was the guy from Roots that when he whips, he's the guy that's whipping Kunta Kinte. And he's saying, your name is Toby.
Whoa, crap.
That's the guy. So he died right there with those 2 little kids. And Jonathan Landis was like breaking all kinds of fucking rules. Like those kids weren't supposed to be out there that night because of like some Screen Actor Guild fucking shit. I believe some safety protocols were being ignored. And yeah, he went like, you want to talk privilege, dude, Hollywood money privilege. Like he went to fucking court, and got the fuck off, got off, man. That dude should have done some hard fucking time.
Hell yeah. Oh,
and I love American Werewolf, man. So I loved it. And Thriller is a fantastic fucking music video.
It is.
And but man, he fucked up big time on that, and probably should have been locked up for 10 years prison, hard time.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, I mean, he ignored this shit, like, dude, what the fuck is wrong with you? For a film, you fuck?
Man.
Those poor kids, man, they're fucking parents.
Yeah.
Oh, my kid's out there doing a movie right now. Oh, they are? Yeah.
Holy crap, that's bad.
Oh, and it's on video. You can actually look this up, probably on YouTube. Now, you can see these kids being killed.
Oh, damn.
Just look up, like, Jonathan Landis helicopter crash, something like that. They'll come up.
Right. Yeah, it looks like I was just doing a quick search, and it looks like there's some TV footage on the reports of it.
Yeah. No, you can see the actual film, like, from the cameras that were rolling.
Damn. That guy in Underground plays Bob Fortuna too. Oh, Stefani clarifies, my bad, it is Black Star.
Oh, whatever. Yeah, there's a film, Dark Star, right?
I lived in an elm tree.
But yeah, John Blackstar, man.
Yeah,
gets sucked through a black hole, ends up in another world.
Yeah. Vic Morrow, Twilight Zone, the scene was cut. Landis told the pilot to really scare them. It worked.
That's terrible.
Oh, shit. Johnny Rando says, yep, Twilight Zone the movie. Good Fortuna, I mean. All right. Happens Fast came out in court. Wow. Yeah, Bit Fortuna, I mean. Oh, damn.
See all that from that question with American World. How dare you? No.
Oh man, I'm not prepared with the "How dare you" clip. So checking out the perks here, we got the blood bag,
Mm-hmm.
and you get a copy of each Graveyard Shift volumes 1 and 2. This is a great way.
Yeah, the collected edition. Yeah.
Great way to catch up if you missed out on the earlier campaigns. And you get volume 3. Wait, let's see. One copy of each Graveyard Shift, volumes 1 and 2, collected edition. Volume 3. Graphic novel signed by Mark. Supplemental plus trading card. Comics will be carefully placed in protected sleeve with protected board and sent to you in a Jedi comic book flash mailer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But like I was saying, the long view on this is that by the next campaign, our blood bag is 3 books, all new material. But then we have another tier, which will be all, it'll be the reprinted material. So you'll have like the volume 1, volume 2 collected by itself, and maybe with a volume 3 second print cover. So
are you going to define the different printings based on, like, are you going to literally print on the inside of the book, second edition, third edition?
No.
Just change the covers.
They are what they are. Yeah.
All right.
That's all too fancy schmancy for me. So I'll let collectors figure it out.
Volume 3 signed. Cool. That's the volume 3 book by itself. And then you get the volume 1 and 2 collected and volume 3 together.
Mm-hmm. You're not sharing this on the screen. Just
Holy crap.
So
What?
It's locked on a different window that you have open or something.
Thanks for pointing that out. Do you see my cursor moving at all?
Mm-hmm.
Is it working?
Good now.
All right. So that was we covered the first blood bag, first tier, first perk, which is blood bag. Volumes 1 and 2 collected, plus volume 3 signed. You get a trading card and the supplemental.
Mm-hmm.
Next one is volume 3 signed, which is the volume 3 book alone.
Yep.
This one.
Anytime you guys do one of these and you start opening up these perks, be sure you're signed out. Otherwise, your credit card information and telephone, all that stuff may pop up.
Yeah, if you like double click on it, it'll send you all the way into the ordering section. So you got to be very careful and make sure you do a single click at all times.
You can't be careful enough. You need to sign out, because I've been very careful and I've accidentally did it.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes it just happens.
Yep, that's true. So the difference between this and the blood bag is you don't get the supplemental or the trading card, right?
Oh, you get a trading card.
Oh, you do get the trading card with this one. All right, cool. And then you can get the volume 3 issue with the supplemental in this tier.
And a trading card.
Right on. This one gives you the supplemental volumes 1 and 2 and trading card, I presume.
Mm-hmm. That's a limited tier too. So 56 out of 350. So we're getting rid of the remaining stock for the volume 1 supplemental, and then those will all be gone. So if we don't get rid of them all this time, it'll be the same thing with the next campaign. We'll take the remainder 50 or whatever it is, because they're already paid for. And then we'll just throw those in and we'll clear those out.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely get in on the supplemental so you don't miss an issue there. Just the new shit. So,
yeah, someone asked for, they just wanted the new shit. So there you go. If you back the last campaigns and you just want the new shit, that's the tier to get. So only 45 people wanted just the new shit though. So yeah. Again, data, good to know.
Yeah.
People are happy to get the even the reprinted material. So oddly enough, because it's different, it's new, it'll complete their collection.
Absolutely. I mean, I had to. I got into CG late, probably September, October of last year, and I missed out on a number of campaigns. So any opportunity I have to, catch up and get the earlier issues is definitely a plus for me.
Yeah, now I think about it, we're gonna have to come up with a 5-year anniversary for like ComicsGate. How do we establish that? Because we're probably creeping up on there.
Yeah.
If publishing, maybe we just base that on like when Jawbreakers went. So for the ComicsGate publishing end, you could say, well, from launch day of the very first Jawbreakers would be, that's when you would start the first year, second year, third year. So maybe we're in the third year now.
Nice.
That'll be fun. So whatever, guys, keep that in mind for 5th year of ComicsGate. Where will we be by then? What new products can we do to kind of make it a little bit more special for the fans, backers of ComicsGate?
Wasn't there a time at which there was some discussion as to the possibility of putting, a bunch of the creators, EVS, maybe Richard C. Meyer, and others coming together and each doing like several pages of story and having one big.
Well, Richard, EVS, and myself are planning to do that. It's just it's got to come together. So everyone's working on their own campaigns, and until material comes in, because I'm supposed to host it apparently. So, but I for me, again, my own personal thing is like, let's have the covers ready to go for the campaigns. Let's have at least that.
Yeah.
Right now there's nothing. So, when everyone has time and is ready to get their covers together and done, then, we'll probably throw it up and let it go. But it won't be officially one of my campaigns, even though I'll be hosting it. So, it's, it may be open for a long period of time. Unlike Graveyard Shift, which I shut down after 60 days, that one may be open for a while, because that's how Richard and Ethan kind of run their campaigns. So,
right, exactly.
Like I said, it's not really my campaign. I'm kind of a host and a participant. So,
right. Johnny's asking, is there any difference between the collected edition and the first prints?
We might put an extra page in there or something. It depends on where we fall with the, because I think volume 1 was 46, volume 2 was 50. These books need to be multiple of 8. So, I don't see why we couldn't drop some kind of maybe, some extra sketches or something like that, behind the scenes stuff, if we have extra pages. But I'll be dealing with that when we get to the actual pre-press point of it and say, hey, we can throw this in there, that in there, stuff like that. Maybe some of the designs, I could see that happening for like Ruiner, and also the the designs for Brahm and Tar Pit Wrecker. I could probably throw those in there. So yeah, I guess I can say it. It's pretty safe to say there will be a little bit of new content in there, but it's nothing to like, just like lose your shit about. Like if you miss out on it, people, you'll see it one way or another. So something just to fill it up. Nothing special is a plan. Let me say that.
Okay. Excuse me. Then you get the blood bag plus the ash can. So the blood bag, which is listed above, excuse me, plus the ash can.
Yeah, and I think that's really the main tier. That's the one I struggled on making the featured tier, because that's really pretty much everything. That's everything. That is all the new stuff plus the collected edition. But it was $85, and again, like we had already done the previous campaign, and we set the initial blood bag at $75. And $85, it just seemed like a little too much to put for a featured tier. Because for me, like featured tier is most you can get, best price. And 85 it's okay, but personally, I'm much quicker to jump in at like a $75 tier. So, and EBS said 75 sounded good, so I went with that.
Yeah. And then you got the Huerta Virgin shirt.
Yeah, so here's an interesting one. So in the Huerta campaign, we put out this Virgin cover. No text. It wasn't the entire. I mean, the actual campaign had the logo and all that stuff on there, but we put out a special cover. There were only 500 of these printed. The Huerta campaign only had like 200 and something, maybe 206 orders. So we took 100 more of them, and we put them in this tier, and that's it. So the entire amount of Huerta copies that are going to be out there is going to be like less than 400. And that's including copies going to myself and Mark, which is only going to be a handful. And then I think 2 out to everyone else for comps. So the rarest Graveyard Shift comic is that one, like hands down right now. But we also threw it onto a t-shirt if you guys wanted. So there you go. That's that'll be your last opportunity to get, whatever's left. So if we only do 50 of these, we'll put the other 50 up in the next campaign. So
I love t-shirts.
Yeah. You can get a t-shirt with it too. So there you go.
And then we got the blood bag plus the ash can plus a sketch.
Yeah. Thankfully, only 5 of them. So,
let's get more baggage for this, so he's got more sketches he can do.
Yeah, the sketches are going to be death to me this time. I'm going to have to do some reconsidering. But, you never know. You never know, because that might also been what encouraged a lot of people to get into the signature tier.
Right.
They're like, hey, not only do I get it signed, but I also get a sketch, So, in the grand scheme of things, if I have to do 1,000 sketches, it's still worth it, for the amount of money that gets raised and, for being able to keep funding all these creators. It's worth it.
Sure, absolutely. All right, so am I missing something? This is a question mark, right?
That's a trading card. That's on everyone with the trading card.
Oh,
the trading cards aren't drawn.
Gotcha. All right. Right on. Creator signature tier.
So this is what people get in the secret perk. The secret perk is the creator signature tier, except instead of paying $175, you pay $120. All the books are signed by Mark and myself, and you also get an original sketch from me, and those will also be signed by me. So that's the biggest moneymaker. Only 12 people have gotten it, but like I said, we got about 400 people on the secret perk tier, whatever. So that's the big moneymaker. That is like where everyone is going. And I think a lot of that has to do too with the appeal of, being able to save $55. People see that as a good deal. So
it is.
It's still the highest backed perk we have.
Now, there's actually a total in the campaign as a whole, 2 ash cans, right?
What do you mean?
Or actually, hold on. Ash cans signed. I thought I saw a previous tier that had 2 ash cans, but
there's only 1 ash can.
All right, right on.
We may do a collected version, which it would include Nerd Wonders, at some point as well. Again, the whole idea is keep trying to drive the cost down for people as we keep going along. So eventually, as a newcomer, 5 years from now, they'll be able to catch up for under $100.
Okay. Justin. Oh.
And Dino, I've been talking for 2 hours and 48 minutes.
Unknown gamer. How long would a 1,000 sketch take? 40 days.
Probably longer than that. So I don't know. I mean, ideally, I'd like to be able to do like 10 a day and keep going on with my day. But even 10 of the Vlad sketches that I did, I did about 10 of those in an hour. So, we're talking a lot of hours. and whatever. I mean, month or two.
When you're doing these sketches, are you using a Sharpie or are you using some other kind of writing instrument?
Oh, Sharpies, yeah.
All right.
Sharpie and colored pens, because I ended up giving Vlad blue eyes and blood splatter all over him. Just something to kind of jazz it up a little bit, you know?
Oh, sweet. Hey, welcome Unhinged Entertainment. Excuse me.
Hail.
Check out the book, Absolute. Hail the Wise and the Wolf Man. I got me the secret perk.
Beautiful. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Fantastic. So cool. Yeah, that was a creator signature tier, 12 claim there. We got a graveyard tier. Oh my gosh.
Graveyard gear. Yeah. So we had this in the last campaign as well. Basically it's the jump in spot for the shirt.
Mm-hmm.
So and anyone that may not know, most people know this, but the gold t-shirt, the gold logo t-shirt, it's always in these really pricey tiers. But that's also because it's anytime I'm at an official event, like for comics, signing or a convention or for the Fans Fest, if you wear this to the show, like actually on you, then after the show, we go out and get a beer. The beer's on me. So I buy you a beer. And that's the deal. So when we get to when we get to For the Fans Fest, if there's like 500 people wearing that shirt, we're all going to a bar somewhere, or we're getting, I don't know, a fucking kegger brought in or something, man. So, and then we'll all sit out and chill. But the idea behind that was that, I mean, a lot of people have always said, oh, you want to get in comics, you gotta be hanging out at the bar after the show, after the convention. Buy an editor a drink. I've heard CB Sobalski tell people to offer to buy him a drink. Fuck you, you fat fuck. You got the company credit card. Yeah. So, but that was always like uncomfortable for me because I always feel like I would be 100% transparent. It would be 100% known to them what my intentions are, and it didn't seem honest or. I don't really want to buy you, a beer. I want you to get me a job. I want you to notice me, and so that was always uncomfortable for me. But I always said, like if there was a comfortable way to break that ice, like if Todd McFarlane was like, guys, look, bud, you get this t-shirt. You come out to this convention. I'm going to buy you a beer, bud. And then we're going to sit down. We'll have a chit chat. And I would say, well, shit, man, I'm going to get me a Spawn shirt 100%. And then I'm going to track down McFarlane at a convention. We're going to go get a beer and, hopefully have a chit chat. So, so that's just it, but if we get, 500 people there, the chit chat time is going to be down a bit. But the beer will be there and it'll be good and it'll be fun. So yeah. I want to be able to thank people and, buy them, something back. And the good thing is those shirts are not a one-time beer. We go to another event at another time, another place. You come with that shirt again, representing Graveyard Shift, again, worn on your body, because that's the point. We want people at the convention or wherever you're at to see that shirt. It's like free advertising. Yeah. And boom, there you go. We'll meet up again and we'll have another beer on me. Every time. It's a beer for life, guys, really.
And meanwhile, you're not much of a drinker, right?
No, I'm not a drinker. Yeah, so it'll be easy on me. I mean, I won't. I'll save money by not drinking. No, I'll probably drink a beer then and there though. Why not? I mean, I'm buying a whole bunch for everyone. So.
And then intermittently, you'll have water or a soda or something. Let's see here. The sketches might be more valuable than the book since Malin normally draws by tablet.
Could be. I have very little original art out there. The conventions I've done, I've done my share of like sketches and stuff. Good handful of commissions, but it's not what I really enjoy doing. So, I like making the books. Like that's where it kind of is for me. And, doing sketches and doing those Vlads, I mean, that's like a living death for me. So doing 1,000 of them is like, oh my God. But whatever. I mean, you can't complain if people are going in there and backing, and again, those funds help put a lot of creators to work. So I'll do a little bit extra. It's
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, by the time you're done doing all those sketches, you'll feel like you're part of a member of the graveyard shift.
Yeah, no doubt.
Malin takes you for a beer, then you wake up in a hotel in a tub of ice, missing your kidney.
Look, guys, rule of thumb: never follow any creators up to their room unless you're intending to bang. So that's about it.
Is the beer on you? I got to start drinking again.
Well, I'm not going to pour it on me, but yeah, it's on. Yeah, I will buy it for you. Please don't try dumping beers on me.
Yeah, really. It's not like you won the Super Bowl. Nice McFarlane impression.
Thanks.
Don't eat his tacos.
What?
Is one of the For the Fans Fest tiers going to be go to Taco Bell with Malin?
I doubt it. Who wants to go to Taco Bell with me? No, maybe it'll be like, I don't know, Disney World? I don't know. I'd like to go to Disney World. Never been there. Let's go hang out in Disney World. I guess you'd for that though, you'd have to work in the cost of the tickets or something, though, right? I mean, well, I don't know. We'll probably just be hanging out in a ballroom somewhere.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So
invite the kid there.
Yeah, I mean, if there's whatever, if there's maybe we'll have a pizza tier and we'll have pizza with me because I don't want to trump up everyone's where I'm buying them a beer.
Right.
And then I end up buying everyone a beer regardless, so maybe I'll buy some pizza or something, I don't know, something like that, something fun.
I saw McFarlane at a con. He took off running the opposite direction.
I wonder why.
I'll make my 7-year-old cousin wear my Malin shirt. She can chug.
Oh, Jesus Christ. You got to be 21, guys. I'm not going to jail for anybody.
Oh, yeah, right. Oh, welcome, Matanui. Good to have you here. Don't even follow them up for that. I met the Todd father. He was a sweet guy.
Great to hear, man. Yeah, I've never met Todd. It's always been a regret.
Hey, welcome, Doc Hogg. We were going to review Graveyard Shift on Indie Comic Review Tuesday.
Oh, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
I'm about that Del Taco. Taco Bell is good too.
Yeah. Look, if people shit on Taco Bell because it's so easy to shit on them. Like if you tell me you don't like Taco Bell tacos and then you start talking about some Mexican tacos that are, they're so much better because they're authentic. Fuck you. If you honestly don't like Taco Bell tacos, I question your taste in tacos. Because I've had Mexican tacos. I've had as authentic, I guess, tacos, whatever. They're fine, but I'm not going to lie and say I hate Taco Bell or, these Mexican ones are so much better. Not really. They're good in their own way, and I appreciate them, but Taco Bell is fucking good.
Yeah, I still like Taco Bell. I like their burritos, their chalupas, all kinds of stuff on their menu. And both their tacos, the soft ones and the traditional hard shell. Let's see here. He says, Unknown Gamer says, I live in Michigan. There's a chance.
Yeah.
Well, everybody back, Graveyard Shift Volume 3. Not so fast, John. Total crap. Goodness shit.
Oh, I hope you got a strong shredder. That's 105-pound paper, baby.
I got his autograph twice in my lifetime. Oh my gosh! Don't go knocking Taco Bell, Matanui.
No, it's fine. You can not enjoy Taco Bell. I just won't take your word for what's a good taco.
Yeah, there's barely anything good on the menu for tacos. I get the $5.
Look at Matanui doesn't even like tacos.
Yeah, what's up with that? I get the $5 box at Taco Bell all the time. Yeah.
I always get the same thing every time. I get the 3 Taco Supreme soft shell with hot sauce meal. That's what I get.
I try and change it up a bit from time to time. I like to get the like anything that is like a Supreme burrito. I usually just order for whatever the largest thing is they have on the menu.
Yeah, I'm a simple man. I find something that I like, I eat it. I go to Chili's every time. I get the exact same thing when I go to Chili's. And I go to Chili's fairly often. It's my most frequented restaurant. I'll say that.
This is pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, but I always get the steak fajita meal every single time. No change up, no nothing. I ask them for no rice because it's a waste because I'm not going to eat the rice. My wife will eat the beans though, so I'll leave those off to the side for her. But that's what I have. Otherwise, I'd order no beans because I just don't really care for those either.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. I don't hate them. I just, I don't hate rice either. I don't really care for them with my fajitas.
Are you familiar with the place? I think it's called El Torito.
It sounds familiar.
Yeah, that's a pretty nice place. I like that. I often got chili rellenos, or I like fajitas. Steak fajitas, chicken fajitas, shrimp fajitas. I'm hungry now.
Yeah, I'm a simple creature, man. I tell you, I find one thing. You can name off everything else on the menu. I'll be like, huh? What's that? But yeah, I just stay with and what I like about Chili's. Here's my Chili's commercial: is I found them to be very consistent in the portion of the meat that they give you. Many times I go places to get like a fajita, and what I find is that I run out of shells, and I have to ask for more shells. Like they have just enough, like it's the perfect amount of meat and the perfect amount of shells that they give you every time. Consistent. Never had a problem there.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. I'll have to go there again.
Yeah, just get steak fajitas at Chili's, guys.
Steak
That's all you gotta do every time. And when they ask for guacamole, you say yes, please. They took guacamole off of the because usually it's included. Now it's like a side item. You have to request at mine.
Oh man,
I know it's bullshit.
Yeah, I know. I hate when places charge extra for guacamole. Oh man. And this is one of the things I like on campaigns, where you get to see the sold out tiers. Because that are grayed out but are still visible.
Yep.
So you can see what you missed out on.
Yeah. So like I said, the first print, we had this tier essentially available on the last campaign, and there were 100 of them. We sold 51, I think. So this time we took the remainder and then threw another one. They're like, all right, here's the other 50. So but these sold out, so there won't be another tier which will have first print of the volume 1. Those are done. Those are retired outside of our own personal copies. So
wow, that's pretty nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really good project. Really good book. Wicked artwork. And let me see. There were.
Oh, and also we put them in really high tiers, guys, because we don't want to undercut, our previous backers as well. So now you don't have to worry about it because the volume 1s are done. But we've always tried to keep those out. Like we're not selling them and driving or keeping the price consistent. We've always sold them at a higher rate.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. You don't want to screw over the original backers.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously, though, enjoyed Graveyard Shift 1, like a cheesy rice and bean burrito.
Oh, thank you.
I buy 10 mini chicken quesadillas for the kid. She eats them over 2 days. Ball.
Nice.
I love the tenders, Cajun ribeye, and chicken enchiladas soup. Fire.
Mm.
You can make a better taco at Mongolian barbecue?
Damn, Mongolian. Look, I used to love Mongolian barbecue, man. But the wife and I went to the semi-local one in Okemos like 4 years ago. And we sat down and they had skyrocketed like their prices. And we're like, what the fuck? Like, I mean, it was so high. We got up and left. We're like, there were new menus and everything. We're like, we're gonna go, man. And I don't know if it was because it was somewhat close to like Michigan State. Maybe the college kids, they thought were gonna pay these like insane prices.
Dang.
But I mean, and dude, we're not like penny pinchers or anything, but we're like, dude, that's just too fucking high, man. So we left, but I loved Mongolian barbecue. Oh, and it went out of business about a year later.
Oh,
So we weren't the only ones that said, fuck this.
yes.
But yeah, Mongolian barbecue, delicious. But that was also the thing too, is I used to go to Mongolian barbecue, you know, and they'd have these like great pictures, like, you know, the old Mongolian lady standing next to a yak, and you're like, oh my God, the Mongolians are, look at them, they're such a peaceful farm people and all this stuff. And then I got into like hardcore history, Dan Carlin's hardcore history. I don't know if you guys ever listened to this, but fucking brilliant, man. On that, you know, maybe if you're a little high, it might enhance the experience a little bit, but you know, do some work while you're listening to it. But dude, listen to Dan Carlin's hardcore history, Wrath of the Khans, and just listen. It's all the story of fucking Genghis Khan and how he just fucking destroyed. And I've never looked at the Mongolians the same way. When I see that old lady stand next to the yak, I'm like, what are you fucking planning? You know, I'm like, and then there's a band out, and people, it's made the rounds on the internet called The Who. Have you ever heard of The Who? HU?
No, I probably have.
Okay, well, they're this like Mongolian band, and you know, they're kind of rocky, like they got a good beat to them and stuff like that, but they sing in their native language, and they're doing like throat singing and Mongol, blah blah blah. You know, like they're doing that whole thing, except it's in their native language, and you have no idea what they're saying. But if you listen to or if you read the subtitles, which are being translated, these motherfuckers are talking about the return of the Mongol Empire and taking back the fucking world. I mean, I'm like, and everyone's like, oh yeah, dude, this is great. Look at these Mongols, man, doing rock music. Isn't that great? They're putting their own cultural influence in it and everything. And I'm like, motherfuckers are talking about taking over the fucking world, bitches. Wake up. Look, you got to keep your eyes on Mongolia. That's all I'm saying, man. Everyone thinks they're out there just hanging out with their fucking sheep. Go listen to Dan Carlin's hardcore history and see what these fucking sheep herders were doing, 1,000 years ago.
That sounds like a trip.
Yeah. 700 years ago, something like that. 1300s, 1500s, something like that. Now, they're fucking killers, man. Don't underestimate the Mongols. Took over the world. They almost took over the world. You know why they didn't take over the world?
Why?
Genghis Khan died. That's it. It's the only reason they didn't take over the fucking world. But he was smart enough where, like, he told his sons, you know, he knew, you know, someone has to carry this on to finish this. And he told his sons, like, exactly what to do and how to keep this fucking war machine just storming through the fucking world. And they had, like, I think he had, like, one bright son and one dumb son. And like the bright son kept going, but he died. But he had not passed the knowledge on to his children on how to keep this machine fucking operating. And, you know, when you're talking about taking over the fucking world, this isn't just like push forward. Like you got to have supplies. You got to have a lot of shit going on. They would send Mongols that would start to become kind of westernized. They would send them back to the homeland, and then like Dan Carlin, he's so fucking cool because he's like it was basically what they had to do to get their superpowers back, because they would go out into the Western world, these conquered lands, and they were living like kings. They'd get lazy, they'd lose kind of their hardcore abilities and skills, they'd soften up, and when they got too soft, the fucking Mongols said, back to the homeland, motherfucker, and they just kept going, dude. They were hardcore. And everyone has to, dude, this is like, it's like 4 episodes, and each episode is like, I don't know, like 3 or 4 hours long. It's fucking intense.
Damn.
Don't trust the Mongols. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
The more you know.
Yeah, I could never go to Mongolian barbecue and look at that lady the same, man. I was like, what's this bitch hiding? And then you look at like, and then you start looking up because like, I'm like getting into it. I'm like, what's going on over in Mongolia? And I start looking at their cities and like pictures of their cities. I'm looking for like staging grounds for war. I'm like, what do they got going on over there? And it's crazy because like you'll see like some of their big cities, and because their culture is so weird, man, like their entire surrounding areas of some of their cities, it's all fucking like tents. And it's like, what's going on in those tents?
Yeah, really.
They're getting shit figured out over there. Yeah, the main thing the Genghis Khan was able to do was get all the tribes together. Like that was his gift. Like these guys fought all the fucking time. That's why they could never get moving forward. And like I think what he said, like Dan Carlin said, like China had like people that were like buffers to the Mongolians, and they're like, we can never fuck with these guys because they keep the Mongols busy. Like they're kind of like a block. But eventually that block disintegrated, and everyone got fucked up. But yeah, it was about keeping the tribes divided, because once they were put together, man, they fucked everything up. And that's where they're at now. And that's why they got that band, the Hue, out there singing about union and fucking taking over. Like, what, dude, they're like actually singing like, what's wrong with you Mongols? Like, why'd you get so fucking lazy? Don't you know where you come from? And they talk about raising the black flag again. I mean, holy shit.
Do they have like music videos and everything? And
Oh yeah. That's where they put like the translations in there. You just type in the what is it? The Hue. The one that I remember is called, I think it's called Wolf Totem, but it might be a different one. If anyone in chat remembers, they can post it in there. There's like two main videos that I've watched. One is Wolf Totem, and the other one is something else, and it might be the other thing where it says that. But basically, they're singing in like the steppe. They're out there in the plains and the little mountainy kind of areas, singing on mountaintops about raising the black flag. These guys were like playing in the U.S. and like on like some local stations. And I'm like, motherfuckers, don't you know what these guys are planning? And everyone treats them like they're just some kind of novelty fucking, look, guys, we're down with the Mongolians. Like, don't you know what these motherfuckers are saying?
It's a secret invasion is what it is.
Oh, shit. Dude, if they ever got their shit together, you got to keep your eyes on Mongolia. That's all I'm saying.
Metal Movies and Brewskis says, I heard half the population is related to Genghis Khan.
Yeah, supposedly true. Look, in my DNA, there's some Vietnamese, and I wonder too. I'm like, I wonder if that's some of that Khan DNA kind of trickling through. You know what I mean? So,
I heard he had red hair and green eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Or like
some say cat eyes.
This is why Marlin, autocorrect, is great. Taco turned into taking over the world.
Yeah, dude, hardcore history is fucking insane.
Yeah.
Dan Carlin, everyone. I think you can get it on iTunes, but I mean, I think you can get it just playing off of YouTube. I don't know how many ads they got stuffed in them these days, but I mean, you just play this shit all the way through. Then he does like some shit on like World War I, man, and it is just so fucking intense because he talks about how the old world was meeting the new world and like he wasn't prepared. Like, some people would have like, kind of hard hats at that point in World War I, but like a lot of these European countries, they're showing up wearing like fezzes and shit. They didn't understand what was fucking right around the corner. All these tanks and artillery and air bombardments, and that's why so many people got like World War I fucked up people in a huge fucking way, and they just weren't prepared for it. I mean, tanks were fighting alongside fucking horses, guys. I mean, that's how fucking crazy it was. Like that just like blows my mind.
Yeah, insane.
Yeah, and he talks about I think it was the World War I German army. There was like a news report. And because I think their uniform, I think it was like gray or something like that. And they talk in this news. There was a news reporter in like a cafe when like the Germans came marching through, and it was just like at first it was like kind of like chuckles and stuff like that. But he said it was just so many of them, they just kept coming through and more and more. And it just was like silence. And it's just like the footsteps, you know, like these fuckers marching in time like a fucking machine. That's death. Death. We are so fucking spoiled. You know, that's what I think about all the time. I'm like, I tell my wife all the time, I'm like, honey, I appreciate that we have electricity, that we have a roof over our head, you know, that we're not living in third world country, you know, that all our shit, for as shitty as some of this stuff gets, I'm so appreciative that we are here. And in this time, this place right now. And you know, health, you know, doctors, you know, they may be expensive, it's not perfect, but we got fucking shit going on here. It ain't that fucking bad. It's getting worse now, sadly, but you know, I think about this stuff and what the alternative is and how hardcore, you know, war actually is. And, you know, it's, you know, real people dying and getting shred up in these fucking machines and powers far beyond their control. And that's scary. So,
oh yeah. Metal Movies and Brewskis says, I like Weird History Channel.
No, I don't think I watched that. Drunk History is kind of funny, though. I used to like watching those. They get people drunk, and then they, you know, like comedians, they get comedians drunk, and then they tell fucking like historical events, and they have people reenacting them. One was the guy that he's on Rogan a lot. This is where I actually saw him for the first time. He talks kind of weird like this, man. Danny. I can't remember what it is. But yeah, man, those things are pretty fucking funny. Have you ever seen those?
I have
Drunk
not.
History? Oh man, you gotta look those up on YouTube sometime.
Let me make note of that.
I mean, they made so many of them now. There's one on like Tesla. Like that was a good one. I think that was the one this guy did. It was on Nikola Tesla. So look up Drunk History Tesla. And I think Will Ferrell, I think he's the guy. He's in one of them. It might be, I don't know if it's the Tesla one. Tesla one might be, who was that guy? They have a lot of like actual known comedians, celebrities involved in this stuff. So yeah, it's pretty funny. But look up the one on Tesla.
Cool. Definitely.
Duncan Trussell. That's his name.
Duncan Trussell. Duncan.
Oh, YouTube ads, I'm guessing. Ads got too ridiculous, so we got premium. Yeah, they got me, yeah. Yeah, ads are insane now, man. Like I used to have well, I still do. I have a playlist, you know, where like on my other YouTube channel, which is just like music that I listen to and stuff. And I can't even listen to it now because it's always like song and then several ads. You know, it's like the longer you go, the more ads you're getting. I'm like, what the fuck, man? I can't even listen to music. So now I have to go back to iTunes, start building up playlists over there.
Yeah, it sucks. I used to do YouTube playlists as well, and then just put them on loop. But then I keep running into advertisements, and it's just aggravating. Biographics channel is dope too. Drunk History is funny as fuck. Crispin Glover was
yeah. Crispin Glover, right? Yeah, perfect.
Crispin Glover.
He's the dad from Back to the Future.
Oh my gosh, really?
Yeah.
That's right. All right.
Yeah, he played Tesla, and then he had a rival, and I can't remember who the rival was.
That's funny.
That one alone, guys, go watch the Nikola Tesla Drunk History, and if you're not hooked, like, don't bother, because that's really kind of the top. I mean, that's as good as it gets.
Sweet.
People always throw up because they're really getting drunk. Like the guy who does the show, he goes to their homes, and then they get drunk, and then he gets them to start talking about history. And then eventually they're fucking like spinning around and puking. And
let's see here. Mata Nui never watched that. And
you got, Mata, you'll be thinking of me, man. Just watch that Nikola Tesla one. They're funny and educational.
Metal Movies and Brewski says, dude looks like Tesla.
Yeah. I mean, you know, he's skinny.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, people. Are you referring to Friday the 13th, Part 4? as
And
well.
that's what it looks like. As well as what, though?
Yeah, I'm not sure. John C. Riley played Edison.
Ah, there we go. Yeah.
Well, that one makes sense. Tesla versus Edison. Yeah.
But what's funny, what half of the humor about the whole thing is they get the storyteller, like the real life comedian guy, you know, in this case Duncan Trussell. They get them to tell the drunk history, so they're fucking up their words, they're slurring, they're doing everything that a drunk would do while telling the story. But while that person is telling the story in real life, you know, they have, you know, John C. Riley, Crispin Glover reenacting what the drunk person is telling. So when they speak in these flashbacks, it's the words of Duncan Trussell coming out of their mouth in the voice of Duncan Trussell. So you never actually hear John C. Riley's voice or Crispin Glover's voice, but you hear them talking, reciting what the drunk guy is saying. It's like if he burps, then they'll burp. You know, it's stupid. It's funny, stupid.
Definitely got to check that out. Hey, a few more random questions I want to squeeze in. If you can sum it up real quick, how did you get into CG?
Well, I was invited, really. I mean, Richard reached out to me and asked me if I wanted to do Jawbreakers. I mean, that was kind of I don't know, I guess if there's an official spot, that's it. But before that, even, I had talked to, I think, you know, I'd gone on Yellow Flash. I think Yellow Flash was the first channel I'd ever been on. I'd been on Yellow Flash's channel, Tug's channel, England Team's channel, and maybe a couple other guys back then, because I had that red hot tweet that went out, which compared SJWs to actual Nazis, and it lit the internet aflame. And so that got a lot of people's attention, and that may have been why I was talking to Flash and Tug at the time. And I was the first person that was what was it that Tug ever live streamed with.
Wow.
So yeah, and so, you know, maybe that was when I was in, you know, quote, in ComicsGate, but I was definitely in ComicsGate when I did Jawbreakers, and there was no turning back. There was no way to even kind of play it off like I wasn't a part of this when I did Jawbreakers. But, you know, behind, you know, in private, you know, I was definitely, you know, aware of Richard. I knew what was going on. I wasn't like tuned out of what was going on. I was watching Captain Cummings and Captain Frugal, and, you know, just what are the England, I Love Comics, England Team Cruise, stuff like that. So I was tuned in, but I was, you know, obviously I was working at Marvel and I was keeping, you know, lips sealed. So,
Right.
but I was talking privately, like even before that, I think, with Doug Ernst, and maybe another guy or two. So, you know, I was there, but I was quietly there. But I'd say officially, like, no turning back was, you know, when I was announced for Jawbreakers.
When you do that infamous tweet, was it somewhere around the time you guys tried to get the book on? Well, you initially were going to put it on Kickstarter. And
Oh,
then,
no. The tweet was before I was involved with Richard in any way, shape, or form. That also got me on Ethan's channel, and I don't know if Ethan was even like officially ComicsGate back then. So, you know,
Right.
that was the epic rant or whatever it was. I don't. It's titled something like that. So,
right.
and I think that was the first time Ethan and I ever actually had a conversation. So,
Let's see. Unknown Gamer says interview with EVS was the first time I heard Malin. Matanui just wandered into the shit on it.
well, happy everyone's here, man.
Yeah, most definitely. In a lot of your streams, you talk about, you know, people in ComicsGate needing to be active participants and, quote, grab an ore.
I say primarily, people that, look, customers are welcome to do whatever they want. I mean, they don't have to do anything but pay their taxes. You know what I mean? If they want to be active participants, then yeah, support some of these projects. It doesn't have to be mine or whatever, then great. If you want to, see, or show people that there's a market for non-political comics, then we have to be putting out non-political comics, and these things need to be supported. So I guess maybe in that sense Gravenor really applies to them. Primarily it applies to creators. So we all, if we want to go out there and start producing work, then we have to contribute primarily to the community, and do our best to build our own channels up to increase the audience of ComicsGate overall as a fandom and network. A lot of people they launch campaigns, and I see that they're not doing as well as they probably could be doing. And I'll ask, I'll say, well, how's your YouTube channel? And 90% of the time it's, well, I got one, but I don't update as much as I should, or I don't do as much as I should. Well, how many subs do you have? Less than 500. And it's like, this is like a gauge for your ability to move a book, to market a book. If you're unable to kind of get people, to get it into your channel, then you're probably not at a point where you should be trying to launch a crowdfunded project, because you are your best marketer, and you are the one that you have to count on to do these, to get out there and get the word out. Unless you have really quick, fast access to like Ethan or, Richard or, any of these other guys with really big platforms, but then you're reliant on them. And then what happens is if they don't give you the attention you feel that you deserve, your love and admiration towards these people turn into bitterness and envy and jealousy. And I think that's what happens with a lot of the anti-comic skaters, is they never bothered to build up a channel. And when they launched their campaigns anyways, and they didn't get the red carpet for Ethan's channel, and primarily Ethan's channel. Richard gets a pass because he doesn't let anybody on. So that's the double-edged sword of trying to help people. When you open up your platform like Ethan does, or like I do with ComicsGate Presents, what happens is, because you try to help, people become resentful because they still didn't get the results they wanted, and they don't want to blame themselves. They want someone else to blame. It's got to be the people at the top holding them down. Truth is, you got to build your channels up. Everyone has to build their channels up. You have to add to the pot if you want to, take from the pot. So, that's kind of the idea. So, we all do our best, like Jack's show, we're drunk. Well, they're drunk. I'm not drunk. They're drunk. They're drunk. We're doing fart jokes and toe fungus videos and really disgusting things on there, food eating competitions, talking about Star Trek, trying to be as entertaining as we can over these prolonged shows of like 4 or 5 fucking hours. And, it's hit and miss, but, that's us. That's grabbing an oar and trying to do your best to give comics gators something to tune into, maybe even something to look forward to. We're a pretty regular show. It's every Thursday, generally at 11 o'clock. We started at 11:30 yesterday because there was a big Ethan stream that myself and Cecil were on. So I started it at 11:30, but we're pretty usually, we're pretty regular for 11 p.m. Eastern times on Thursday. So it'll be on my channel. It goes in order. So it's a Jack show, but it's John, Anna, Cecil, Kelsey. That's why it's a Jack show. But we also rotate in that order. So next week it'll be on Anna's, then it'll be on Cecil's, then it'll be on Kelsey, then it'll be back to me. Unless Ethan wants to pop in there somewhere. I mean, again, he's got a huge platform. So if he wanted to host it, we'll go on his channel. We'll do it over there. So right. But yeah, that's all trying to do our part. It's not just the comic creations. Look, everyone's like, I just want to make comics. Well, you don't think I just want to make comics. You know what I mean? But someone's got to put in the marketing work. So, to have any creator out there sit on their laurels and say, well, I just want to make comics. Well, what? And benefit from the hours, thousands of hours a year that Cecil, myself, Ethan, and all these other channels are actually putting out there and doing this work, trying to contribute to the pot, you know? So, yeah, so grab an oar is, you know, largely for creators to get out there, do your best to be a part of this and give people something to watch, something to keep their attention on.
Yep. Yeah. People mentions we got CG UK going here for 7 months now. That's pretty cool. The UK version of ComicsGate.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's ComicsGate, you know, so yeah.
Wolverine sub. Oh, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Oh, what's happening, Wolverine? Yeah. I
I
was on a stream with him just the other day. Might have been at Dan's.
Oh, nice. Yeah, Wolverine's pretty cool.
You don't get why Cecil is funny.
It's
you don't, you know. I mean, whatever. It's just humor, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cecil is funny. I find it hard to believe that anyone think that he's not funny. He's funnier with liquor, and only because I think his timing is a little bit better. Like it lubricates his brain a little bit, and like he just puts out like really good funny stuff, man.
Yeah, he cracks me up. That is, let's see, Malin is right about channel building, consistent scheduling. Video drops help with subscription growth. Yeah.
Yeah. So here's the YouTube advice. Videos, you know, 5 to 10 minutes. If you want to grow, that's really the way to grow your channel, is putting out these regular 5-10 minute videos all the time. You know, Richard and Ethan, those guys are both doing like 2-3 videos a day, you know, building up their channels. And, you know, they got a real gift for it, and that's really hard to do. But Anna as well, like that's what she did, you know, these multiple videos, always putting out videos, new content all the time. But you got to have a really good point of view and what you're saying, and, you know, some reason to get people to tune in, and, you know, you got to be naturally funny, quick, whatever. But that's the way to really grow, is short videos. Live streams is anti-growth. And live streams, well, they're great, but you know, YouTube looks at it on this. My understanding is this is how YouTube looks at it. If you watch 10 minutes or if an audience person watches 10 minutes of a 20-minute video, they watched half. If you're doing a 4-hour live stream and people are watching for 10 minutes, they're watching a insignificant fraction of the time that this thing is actually running. So that, to their computers and to their sensibility, that means that nobody is really giving a shit about it. So that's why live streams actually hurt channels. So, you know, a lot of us do live streams all the time. So, you know, that minimizes growth, and that's not a great thing. You know, my channel would be growing a lot better if I was doing 10-minute videos, you know, but I got to have a point of view on everything. And, you know, my brain, I'm so forgetful, like, you know, to even have like these kind of grudge battles that people tend to have, you got to have like, you know, a Rolodex brain, and you got to be able to pull up all these slights and instances on a dime. And, you know, truthfully, I forget most of them after a month. You know, listen, that's like, it's a little easier for me kind of like forgive people, because I forget. Like, I actually forget. Like, I don't remember what it was that big slight, you know, 6 months ago, unless it's repeated and it keeps getting brought up. Like, that's the only time I'm kind of quick on that. But yeah. I can't remember everybody's dramatic issues and where every slight, you know, like, you know, these guys, you know, Tug, Yo Flash, Ethan, you know, they got like not photographic memories, but they're definitely zeroed in, and I can't do that. So if I involved myself in all these small dramas, I would probably end up becoming hypocritical, because I'd say one thing 6 months ago that it's only a good point for then. It'd be really hard to keep track of all this stuff, and I can't do that. But videos is where it's at if you want growth. Live stream, what live streams are good for, is the benefit of being able to connect with the audience in a way that you can't do with video, just random video drops. That's why, also, if you're going to drop videos, put them on a premiere. So there's a countdown, so your audience has time to hop in. So when it premieres, you can actually be in the chat, and during the time of that 5-10 minute video, you can actually interact with your chat right then and there. And that's a little bit of that personal connection. And then that helps us in terms of ComicsGate, in terms of sales and getting people motivated about certain projects, and even the back and forth of the audience interaction, and find out what the audience is, what's on their mind, what kind of thing are they kind of looking for. They're happy to throw out excuse me, suggestions for here and there. And sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. In the case of Tank Heist, it's terrible because even creator wise, we got like 7 creators involved, and
Oh man.
who knows who threw what idea out in chat. And that's why Tank Heist may or may not ever happen, because it's a fucking you gotta untangle this knot and talk to everybody and say, hey, you mind not getting paid for this? And then everyone's like, well, what if it becomes a multi-billion-dollar movie? What if this is my one big hit? I need $1 million. You know what I mean? And it's like, oh, okay, this project's dead. So
exactly, that'll be tough.
Yeah. So that's why Tank Heist may or may not happen. I get a little thorn in my side to kind of get up and start doing something about it, and then I go off somewhere else, because Graveyard Shift and Project Thunder and other projects are a lot easier for me to deal with than getting a hold of people like Mike S. Miller and being like, what do you want, Mike, for me to do a Tank Heist book? I want the world.
I want your backers to become my backers.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mananui mentions that it's weird because live streams appear to have more interaction than regular videos, which is
this is where you get your personal interaction at, the back and forth conversation that builds a connection that you can't get anywhere else in comics, between creators and fans, or fans and fans, depending what type of channel it is. So
yeah, and that idea you had to use the Premiere feature, that's a good idea. I have to play around with that and learn how to do it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's really easy. Just when you schedule, you can schedule you hit schedule, and there's a little box for Premiere, and then you write what time you want it to go live at, and that's it. Set it and forget it.
Awesome.
But I did that with like Malin After Midnight videos, and when I was doing those things on semi-regular, because I didn't have my channel. And, that was doing pretty good, pretty decent for growth. I had longer videos. They were definitely ComicsGate specific, which kind of limits, instead of being like a Star Wars video or something like that.
Right.
But I was getting 500 people at a premiere at a time when I was doing those. And I'd be there. I'd interact as best as I could, and see how people were liking or not liking the video. They all seemed more or less to love them. So
yeah, I enjoy those Malin After Midnight videos, especially that little intro you do. Cutscenes. That's actually pretty well. Let's see. Live streams have all the interaction of regular videos. Yeah. Tug screenshots everything. He's got files on people.
Yeah, Tug is probably like a super organized guy. Like I'm like, why does my desk get so messy? It's like I put a paper here, there, something, it's organized chaos a little bit, but eventually just becomes chaos because I forgot what I put where eventually. So whatever, Andino. It's not ended. It's just I'm waiting for inspiration. Those videos take a lot of time and effort and energy. I mean, they're you want to do good videos. I don't want to do bad videos. And to do good videos, I have to really kind of deep dive in. I have to, in some cases, I may have to, even with like the mic stuff, I'd have to go back and watch some of this stuff just really kind of remind myself of what the fuck was going on.
That would be a lot of research.
It's a lot of research, and that's stuff that I was actually involved with. So for me to hop into like the George Alexopoulos stuff, I had to deep dive into that just to figure out what the fuck was going on, because I didn't know hardly anything about it, and it's like, god damn, this is a lot of fucking work, man. Mm-hmm. So but at the end of the day, I can make a pretty decent video out of it, but I'm just one person, and I need somebody with like a nerd brain, that can keep track of all the drama, like fucking comic book fans can keep track of. This happened in issue 232, Hulk, page 7. You know,
That sounds amazing to me. I can do that kind of recollection.
yeah, but that's what I would need, somebody sitting by my side that actually has that kind of recollection for me to do Malin After Midnight on like a real regular basis, so I could pull up every little thing that I would have documentation for to be able to put into a video. It's not easy. They're not easy at all. The music video parts that I would do, those are actually pretty easy and fun. You know, I like putting those together. And the kind of like the not meta, just these kind of like David Lynchian kind of type videos of like weird things with weird sound effects. Like that's fun for me. I like doing all that stuff, the music video, and trying to incorporate all that into like a storyline and whatever, you know, at times is, you know, it's fun. It's what makes it good, I think.
Is that kind of stuff considered public domain?
What's that?
Well, I mean, all those little clips of this strange and unusual stuff that you.
Oh no. You know, it's transformative. It's transformative. So, you know, for the most part, as long as you're not, you know, abusing it, you know, I'm not trying like, you know, like the ones with like American Werewolf in London clips or other horror clips, you know, it's just like I'm putting it to this quick video. This song is actually probably more threatening than anything in the videos. So, you know, because you can get copyright strikes on them. You know, but and that's kind of the hard thing too, is finding a really good cover. Like I've spent hours just trying to find good covers of you know, any particular song. And you know, maybe that day will come where instead of using covers, I'd rather use the real song.
Oh yeah.
And I don't mind if the record companies get money off of that. You know, I'd rather use a real song than the cover. But I don't want my channel struck down for it, and I don't want it to be blocked in over 160 countries. So
yeah. One of my first streams was an 11-hour stream, and it was Christmas evening, and I was doing Google searches, right? You know, since Google owns YouTube, so I thought, all right, if I use Google to do the searches for royalty-free songs, then I might be safe. But that was a poor assumption. Because
yeah, well, you know, I get, you know, hit on a lot of the music that I use, but it's usually just becomes ad revenue sharing or whatever. They want the ad money,
right?
Which is all fine with me because I'd rather have the video up and, you know, playing, especially when I've spent, you know, not 100, I don't know, 5 hours editing together a really cool video for it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I'd much rather, I think most people would much rather just give me direct access to the original song. Let me put it up there without worrying about if it's going to strike my channel down or not. And you can have my ad revenue. How's that? Like, just do that. If that happened, I think it'd blow the doors open. But it's also be better for the original artist, because instead of being able to play, say, a Rob Zombie video, or I'm sorry, Rob Zombie song, I have to find somebody who does a good enough version of it and promote them. So now I'm promoting a guy not affiliated with Rob Zombie, their video. And, you know, so I'm promoting that band. But wouldn't the record company rather that I promote Rob Zombie, you know, the album they want to sell and make money off of?
You would think.
Yeah, so it seems like that would be the best avenue to go, is to just open it up. And, you know, look at all the fan-made music videos that go on. Yeah, I mean, instead of your record company, like, okay, so you make a video, but if you allow YouTube creators to go out there and freely make these videos for themselves, now all of a sudden you got hundreds of people, thousands of people making their own music videos promoting your song, your band. So open it up.
Right, exactly.
And take the ad money. That's fine. I think most people would say that's fine, especially if it became ad sharing. And so if if $1 goes, you know, or if $1 is made off of watching this video, you know, give 80 cents of it to the record company, 10 cents of it to YouTube, 10 cents to me. that'd be worth it as long as I have a good video worth showing, at least for, you know, like ComicsGate, because we're not really necessarily building the channel up to be like a main source of income. You know, that's where the books come in. Like, come,
Right.
you know, check out these books eventually. We want to sell you these books so that we can keep making these, you know, videos or be on these live streams. So the income, any income from YouTube is like bonus, but it's not necessarily necessary.
Right, for sure. Oops.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to split here in a couple of minutes because I got to be on Mandy's in 15, by the way. So.
Oh, okay. Is that Is that CG Presents? Wait, this is Friday. Are you guys?
It's just her Mandy and Malin show.
Okay. All right, cool. Tug could probably destroy us all if you wanted to. Malin in the morning.
Yeah, those are fun.
Coach update. It's no one says Coach. Welcome. Coach update your Twitter. You still got Graveyard Shift 2.
Good point. I am going to update it, and what I'm going to put on there is I'm going to be pinning the rates for the fulfillment center.
Oh, okay.
So, and the first line of communication for you guys on where to email if you want to get involved, and in terms of, you know, hiring us for that. So that'll be the new pin tweet. But yeah, you're right, and I appreciate it.
Sweet. Pete says it's been a cool show. Bit time in UK here though. Take it easy, Pete.
Yeah. Good night.
Wolverine says, "Oh, gotta run. I'll try to catch video on demand later. Have a good one, Wise Malin. Ass titty." Bam. Oh, real quick. So, how did the Jack Show come into being? I mean, how did you guys like connect and decide, hey, we've got
well, as I remember it, you know, Cecil, my dog's getting mad too. As I remember it, Cecil and I were doing some streaming together, you know, semi-regularly at the time. And I think we had Kelsey pop in. And at one time, then Anna had actually popped in. I don't know if Cecil and Anna had streamed before that, but Anna was tuning in to Cecil's show.
Oh.
And then we invited her in, and, you know, found out how crazy she was. And, you know, when we got her and Kelsey together, it was, you know, everyone was actually drinking then except me. And, you know, it was a lot of fun comedic magic was happening, primarily from everybody, you know, watching Kelsey just like fawn over Anna. So, yeah, that's how it started. And we're like, oh, you know, so we kind of kept, you know, informally kind of meeting. But somebody in chat had said, hey, Jack Show, John, Anna, Cecil, Kelsey. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Take it easy, Johnny. That is awesome. Yeah, I enjoy watching your guys' shows. They're pretty hilarious.
But yeah, I mean, it was just me and Cecil hanging out, and that was it. And, you know, people just kind of gravitated that way.
Sweet.
But, you know, Cecil was, you know, we're kind of doing, I don't know. Again, it's nothing like official, but, you know, Cecil was doing, you know, his stuff. And then I was just kind of being like, I don't know, what are the dry humor, straight man kind of type guy on it. You know, I'd just be the contrarian, and, you know, or the yes man. So however you want to look at it, you know, whatever would be funnier.
Right. Exactly.
So. All right. Yeah. Thanks for having me on. And I do have to go because I got to hit the bathroom. I got to stand up, stretch. I got to deal with the dog all before I hop on there. So thanks to everyone in chat. Good talking to all you guys. If you guys haven't, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, make this, you know, growing channel as well. And go back Graveyard Shift. We got 14 days left in the first 30. If you have the secret perk, link, go ahead and use that before the 14 days is up. Otherwise, it will disappear. So, yeah, thanks for having me on.
My pleasure. Thank you for being on. It's been awesome. And you take it easy.
All right. Bye, everyone.
All right. Yeah, so I only showed up to one Jack show. I was not expecting to run into anyone from Tug's chat, though. Good show. Well, thank you. I was trying to squeeze in, you know, my usual closer and give him a chance to go over how people can find him on social media. But he's got to get ready for his next show with Mandy. So if you guys are still up, go check out him and Mandy's show. It sounds like it's going to be on Mandy's channel. Let me take a look. See, what happened to my other window? By golly! Oh, it's over here. Oh, you know what? Let's do this too. Chrome tab. Reshare this. Just see if this happened to have changed at all. Have a good weekend, Johnny. Let's see. Let's do a refresh on this. 1,444 backers. Did I hit the refresh? Oh, there we go. All right, 1,446. So creeping on up. 27,507% of $500 flexible goal. It's at 137,535. Pretty sweet. Yeah, so everybody back graveyard shift. If you backed it already, back it again if you can. Again, thanks for everyone for hanging in. Thanks for those who lasted the nearly 4 hours stream. I had a blast. I hope you had a blast. You can find me on Twitter at WyzGyz Tweets, on Twitch at WyzGyz Twitches, on YouTube under WyzGyz Entertainment. Please mark the bell. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Mark the bell for notifications. And when you do so, select all notifications so you make sure you don't miss a stream or video. All right. Well, thanks to everyone who watched or was in the audience today. Thank you to all who will see this in replay. Thank you to our very special guest, John Malin, John the Coach Malin. Such a fun and entertaining night. And I shall catch you next time. Ending broadcast.